All right, I say we live, but I don't see no clock running. All right, y'all, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahusha. Pick us up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify in me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Allah. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, all manner of esteem, praise, and honor to Abba and Shamim in the name of his only begotten son, Yahusha HaMashiach. I pray everybody doing good, feeling good. Just go ahead, man, and start cutting up this dope and put this on the street, man. John 1 and 12. Yeah, like you would be esteemed. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of Elohim, to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor the will of the flesh, nor the will of man, but of Elohim. And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his esteem. The esteem is the only begotten of Abba, full of mercy and truth. John bare witness of him and cried, saying, this is he of whom I spake. He that come after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. And this is and of his fullness have we received esteem for grace for grace, excuse me. For the law was given by Moses, grace and truth came by Yahusha HaMashiach. No man have seen Elohim at any time, the only begotten Son, which is of in the bosom of Abba, he have declared. So, any of y'all got a chapter of these gospels that you want to choose? Because if not, I'm gonna pick one for you. Huh? What'd you say? Oh, Matthew 14 it is. We ain't did Matthew 14 yet. Matthew chapter 14, verse 1. At the time Herod, and y'all can do the same in the chat if it's a chat, because we're just going through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's 88 chapters to choose from. We're going through each one of them to see what he taught, what he did, all of that, where it comes from. You can slide it in the chat. YouTube, Clubhouse, don't make no difference. And we'll go to it. Or if not, I'll pick it. At that time, Herod the Tetrarch heard of the fame of Yahusha and said unto his servants, this is Yachanan the Immerser. He is risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him. For Herod had laid hold on John. Look at little John. He said Matthew 5 for you. Look at little John. That's my favorite. It is. I love that page. It made me feel good. Verse 3. Look at Civic. Late. Now, whose fault is it? Doris or Civic? Who you put your money on, Lee? Damn. What you care about, Lee? Plants? I do care about plants. They say my children? No, sometimes. Plants, all the time. Matthew 14:3. Which one? Why you late, Civic? She made me a sandwich. She should have had it made before you got there. So is Doris why you late? Civic just hit you with the Adam, it's the woman you gave me. She gave me to eat. Matthew 14:3. For Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. But John said unto him, it is not lawful for you to have her. Why would John tell Herod this? Who can tell me? Why would he tell him that? Put my baby down and you tardy. That nigga ain't late. That nigga's tardy. That's what they used to get you in school. You're tardy. What you laughing at, baby Joanne? Looking like your granddad. Look like my dad. She certainly built like it. Y'all don't know why, according to the law, that why he would tell him he wrong for doing this? He was wrong for doing this because he was messing with his brother's wife. Listen to what he said. But John said unto him, it is not lawful for him to have her. Remember, he said he put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. Herod put John in prison because of Herodias, who was his brother Philip's wife. He had no business messing with his literal blood brother's wife. Law tell you not to do that. Verse 5, and when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude because they counted him as a prophet. But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter Herodias danced before him and pleased Herod. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. And she, being therefore instructed of her mother, said, give me here Yachanan their mercer's head and a charger. And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake. And then we sat at meat, he commanded to be given. And he sent and beheaded John in the prison. And his head was brought in a charger and given to the damsel, and she brought to her mother. And the disciples came and took up his body and buried it and went and told Yahusha. And when Yahusha heard, he departed thence by a ship into a desert place apart. And when the people heard, they followed him on foot out of the cities. Yahusha went forth and saw a great multitude and was moved with compassion towards them and healed their sick. And when it was evening, his disciples came to him saying, this is a desert place. The time is now past. Send the multitude away, but they may go in the villages and buy themselves victuals. Yahusha said to them, they need not depart. Give you them to eat. And they said unto him, we have here but 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And he said, bring them hither to me. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, looking up to Shamahim, baruched and brake, and gave the loaves to disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And they did all eat and were filled, and they took up the fragments that remained, 12 baskets full, and they had eaten were about 5,000 besides women and children. So who can tell me what passage in the scriptures allude Yahusha just did right here? Who can tell me? Because there is a place. Can anyone tell me who it was and what was done that is a coinciding passage to this right here? What? That's what you just read. This is something that bears witness to him doing that. No, you can't speak about the Lord. You got to go to Genesis to Malachi. We just read the Lord did it. So who did it before he did it? No, just the part with him feeding the multitude. Not the part with John the Baptist. Just from 13 to 21. Yeah, somebody fed the multitude. Just like he did. Huh? Well, you said David. You sure about that? You confident in that? Hey, take that from her before she breaks it.
Yeah, he said
Mm-hmm. But just so you know, it was David, but you weren't confident.
No, I was in my head thinking when it was.
Come over here to 2 Samuel chapter 6. Come over here to verse 12. 2 Samuel 6 and 12. And it says, and it was told Malik Dawood, saying, Yahuwah have baruched the house of Obed Edom, and all that unto him because of the ark of Elohim. So David went and brought up the ark of Elohim from the house of Obed Edom into the city of David with gladness. And it was. And that when they bare the ark of Yahuwah had gone 6 paces, he sacrificed oxen and fatlings. David danced before Yahuwah with all might, and David girded with a linen ephod. So David and all the house of Yasharal brought up the ark of Yahuwah with shouting and with the sound of a trumpet. And as the ark of Yahuwah came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window, saw King David leaping and dancing before Yahuwah, and she despised him in her heart. And they brought in the ark of Yahuwah and set it in its place in the midst of the tabernacle that David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before Yahuwah. And as soon as David had made an end of offering burnt offerings and peace offerings, he baruched the people in the name of Yahuwah of hosts. And he dealt among all the people, among the whole multitude of Yasharal, as well to the women as men, to every one a cake of bread and a good piece and a flagon. So all the people departed, every one to his house. So that's just your scriptural example where you see a multitude being fed. Yahusha fed a multitude, and there's your scriptural example. Santa had put it in the chat also. You know what I'm talking about? And that's just in case you've forgotten, because we don't talk about it a lot. You know what I'm saying? In that regard, about the scriptural example when it comes to that. Let's return to Matthew 14 and 22 and finish out this chapter. And then, it's a long one. But it's not a lot in Matthew 14 as for what he did. It's really just two examples, two things, and you're about to see. 14:22. So straightway Yahusha constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him unto the other side while he sent away the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening would come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Yahusha went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a ruach, and they cried out for fear. But straightway Yahusha spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be you, bid me come unto you on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahusha. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and beginning to sink. He cried, saying, Lord, save me. Immediately Yahusha stretched forth hand and caught him and said unto him, O you of little faith, wherefore did you doubt? And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. And they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, Of a truth, you are the son of Elohim. And when they were gone over, they came into the land of Gennesaret, and the men of that place had knowledge of him, and they sent out into all the country round about, and brought unto him all that were diseased, and besought him that they might only touch the hem of his garment. As many as touched were made perfectly whole. Now, of course, with the feeding of the multitude, that's clearly a sign of love and kindness. You know what I'm talking about? But now there is a scriptural example of him walking on water. Who knows where it is? I'm keeping forgetting to sit here now. Because Doris was late. No, there's a scriptural example of him walking on water. You haven't forgot? You forgot about that? Who knows where it's at? Well, not the walking on water part, but the dealing with, because you notice it said he calmed the seas and all that other type of stuff. No, that part of the sea, he didn't part the sea there. He calmed the seas so that they could walk on it. Remember, let's go back and look at what he said, right? The walking on water part, that's something a little different. Then we got Matthew 5 and we got Psalm 77 on deck. But what he said right here, right? The wind was boisterous and they were afraid. And then he said, be of good cheer. And of course, this is also bringing in the true part of the faithfulness, because he asked, could he come? And he said, come on. But because he saw the wind or he saw the turmoil, he became afraid and he doubted. And that also an example of what's in 1 John about perfect love cast out fear, because fear have torment. Oh, no, you got to go to Genesis to Malachi to see the example of him dealing with the seas. Come over here to Psalms 89 real quick, like 89 and 6. Psalms 89 and 6. Yeah, and you could use that one too, Stanley, if you wanted to. He's talking about Genesis 1. Come on, Civic. Psalms 89 and 6.
For who in Shamahim can be compared unto Yahuwah among the sons of the mighty, it can be likened unto Yahuwah. Elohim is greatly to be feared in the assembly of the saints.
That's right.
And to be had in reverence of all.
He said, be had in what?
In reverence.
To who?
Of all about him.
To some people?
Of all.
Everybody who round him better give him his respect. Come on.
Oh, Yahuwah Elohim of hosts, who is strong Yahuwah like unto you, or to your faithfulness round about you.
To your what?
Faithfulness
round about you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bad. I don't be paying attention to them type of bro. So you notice he said that his faithfulness was round about him when he told him to come walk. Right or wrong? What did he say to him? Oh, you a little. Why did you? That's a doubt. That's what a lot of people's problem is that they doubt. See, like that's what I mentioned Wednesday night. You know what I'm saying? Especially later on when people who came on because you got a lot of people, they'll come through here, but they don't really know what type of time we on. So they catching snippets and tidbits and this, that, and the third. But a lot of people, biggest problem is and they don't believe the word. They don't trust in Yahuwah. They don't believe in Yahuwah. So it's certain things that you'll be going through, you know what I'm saying? Like if we was to take that and just go into a multitude of different ways, which we not at this present time, is at this particular point, seeing all the turbulence going around that ship that they own. And in the midst of this turbulence, shalom, brother, everybody that's on that ship, only Peter wanted to go to him in the midst of the turbulence. But in the midst of going, he's seeing himself, I'm walking on this water. But I seen the wind blowing. I seen some trouble. Everything was good, but I seen some trouble. And I began to doubt because of the trouble. And now, Lord, please save me. But good what the Lord did. He showed him mercy because he could have let him drown. You know what I'm saying? He said, come on, I'll save you. But why did you doubt? Your faith is small. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of people look at that and you just read that as a story about him sinking in the water. And it's not about him sinking in the water. Or you're going to focus on, he walking on water. And you missing the point. The point wasn't the aspect of he was walking on water. The point was in the midst of a destructive storm, Yahusha, who was separated from his disciples, began to walk to them in the midst of the storm. And he seen him and say, Lord, I want to come to you. And he said, come on. Meaning that whatever was going on around you meant absolutely nothing because I'm in your presence. And because you seen what was going on with the storm around you, you began to doubt. Even though he was right there in front of you and that you were walking in the midst of it. So it's really more so about maintaining faith in the midst of tribulation. You know what I'm talking about? That as long as Yahuwah with you, how can you fall? You not. It's not going to happen. But see, that's what people come in. Oh, you sound like church. You sound like a wicked, unbelieving bastard. That's what you sound like. You niggas so mad with the church. I'm talking about, there's a lot of colorful words that I would like to use that are not even profane. That just out of the sense of professionalism, I won't use at this present time. You know what I'm talking about? But niggas piss me off to the highest level when it comes to these things because you really telling people not to trust in God because you mad with the church. I don't understand it. Because that's why people not receiving the spirit. That's why people not overcoming. Didn't we literally read it again for him? Said, give me 1 John 5 and 4, man. We come back to Psalms 89. Give me 1 John 5 and 4. Listen to what this man say.
For whatsoever is born of Elohim overcome the world.
Whatsoever what?
Is born of Elohim.
It does what?
Overcome the world.
What else?
And this is the victory that overcome the world.
This is our what?
The victory that overcome the world.
Even our what?
Our faith.
Our laws?
Faith.
Our obedience?
Faith.
So you're going to obey because of your faith. So you can't even overcome the world if you don't have the amaf, the amuna, the aman. You can't even get the victory. And you telling people not to have that. It makes no sense. Do you realize if your people didn't believe in the wilderness, they would, in Egypt, they would have died there? You know, it had to take faith for them to believe that if we put this blood over the doorstep, that we're not going to die. You thought it was just by the Passover feast? They had to trust God that God was going to keep his word that I'm not going to touch you if you do this. And if you do this, I'm going to bring you out of this place. You had to believe him when he said that. But all you think about it is a slaughtering of a lamb. That's what you think this is about. That ain't what this is about. It's never been about that. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about as praisable. We were talking about, I tried to ping you, Misha, but your name don't pull up. A lot of people don't do, like I said, that's what we were talking about. I was mentioning stuff with Adam and Eve. Now it's coming back to my mind. Praise you. You know what I'm saying? As it pertains to whatever we was looking at in John 14 about the grace and truth. Praise you. So that's what we was talking about on our way out the door. And what, of course, by the grace of Elohim, we understand and know that the tree of life and the tree of knowledge and good and evil are representative of law and grace and truth. And isn't it interesting that the first Adam brought the law, but he didn't bring grace and truth that the tree of life bring? He didn't bring that. See, like I said, man, by the grace of Elohim, Yahuwah been good to us. Nobody know any righteousness of our own to allow us to see and understand his mystery and his will so that we can grow in faith and receive the Ruach and be saved. Because see, if we was to go in a bunch of brews and a bunch of Christians right now, and we go to talking about, oh, you can see the aspect of Adam being representative of Moses because he took from the tree of knowledge and good and evil, and him came the law and grace and truth come by Yahusha, because Adam didn't bring you the tree of life. But yet then we can turn around and look at by Adam dying for his wife, that's a manifestation of him showing grace and truth to his wife because of the faithful love and kindness that he was willing to die for his wife instead of letting her perish in her sins, just like Mashiach did. So then because we're able to see that, we're able to understand the level of love that Yahuwah has unto us, that we would be of the highest level of stupidity to reject such a high level of mercy. But see, the average individual look at that and thinking, see, y'all off, you off your doctrine off. You are a goofy. You're an idiot. You're an ingrate. You're of the highest level of unintelligence that is capable for man to attain. That's why he said, you won't come to me. He said, because I know you. The love of God ain't in you. A lot of these niggas just be talking, man. What we at, say? We good. Come back to Psalms 89. Read me verse 8 one more time. Baby Joanne, I see you.
O Yahuwah Elohim of hosts, who is strong Yahuwah like unto you, or to your faithfulness round about you.
That's right. Listen to verse 9.
You rule the raging of the sea.
You do what?
Rule the raging of the sea.
And when the waves thereof arise,
you still them.
You do what?
You still them.
Come on, where that other passage at with him still in the sea so we can knock out both at the same time? I think it's in Mark. Is it in Mark? Let me see. That's when the man got healed, when he had a little palsy. There it is. Come on, we'll knock out Mark 8 before we get to, Matthew 8, pardon me. Matthew 8 before we get to Matthew 5. Matthew 8 and 1. We're going to run Matthew 8 because that aspect of what we talking about is in there too. We'll do both. Matthew 8 and 1.
When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him.
They did what?
Followed him.
And behold,
there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if you will, you can make me clean.
Can you do what?
Make me clean.
And Yahusha
put forth hand and touched him,
saying,
I will, be you clean.
And immediately
his leprosy was cleansed.
Yahusha said unto him,
see, you tell no man, but go your way.
And show yourself to who?
The priest.
And do what?
Offer the gift that Moses commanded.
For what? A
testimony unto
them.
Now
get them Leviticus 14 and 1, man. Come on, so they can see where that come at from the law. No. Yeah,
I'm start from verse 1.
Yeah, give me verse 1.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, this shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper. Then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 birds alive.
Take to him what?
2 birds alive.
What else he got to do?
And cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop.
He got to take who?
Scarlet and hyssop.
Hold on, back it up. He got to take what now?
Cedar wood, scarlet, and hyssop.
What that sound like to y'all? He say for the leper to be, what is leprosy? It's a plague of the skin. You know what I'm saying? You got a plague. Listen to that sacrifice. Let me give y'all, let me spell out leprosy for you real fast. Barry, what's good, my G?
Yeah, cedar wood, I like to stay.
Let's look at the law of the leper. Let's look at a leper in Hebrew. What is leper? It is sarah. It is a disease of the skin. You got Sod, Rosh, and Ayin. You give me what you got for Sod, Rosh, and Ayin. Because remember, right, with Elisha and Naaman the Syrian, what was Naaman the Syrian instructed to do in order to cleanse himself? To dip in the water, right? So I want y'all to come over here. Yes, sir. I want you to come over here and look at something that Peter said, right? I want you to come over here. I got you, Sid. Why are you doing that? I want you to come over here to 1 Peter chapter 3. Is it 1 Peter chapter 3? Make sure. No, I ain't 1 Peter chapter 3. I'm bugging. No, I ain't tripping. Come over here to 1 Peter chapter 3. Yeah. 1 Peter chapter 3. Come over here to verse 16. Everybody. Yeah, Stanley. I'm just running it down and just using Matthew 8 in its entirety. Y'all willing, we'll probably just swing back tomorrow 4 in its entirety. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 16, having a good conscience that where they speak evil of you as evildoers, that they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conduct in HaMashiach. 4, better if the will of Elohim be so that you suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing. For HaMashiach also have once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, which is going back to the aspect that we were talking about Adam and Eve. Because at the end of the day, who disobeyed? Eve did. So she would be considered to be what? Unjust. So Adam would be considered to be what? Just. So that means he gave the just died for the unjust as a pattern of what was to come later. You know what I'm talking about? That's a pattern of what was to come later. Like I told that lady Wednesday night, and I told y'all caught up on the gender wars. We ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I told everybody earlier today about the same type of deal, right? This whole gender war stuff and all this stuff they got going on, a bunch of white men sat in a room and socially engineered you to believe these dynamics that you arguing about every day. You think people in antiquity was arguing about what you arguing about? They didn't have these issues. Somebody created that to cause division amongst the people, and you silly enough to fall for it and perpetuate it. Oh, men ain't this, women ain't that. You both stupid because you buying into something that a white man selling you. You've been socially engineered. Shalom, Brother Renner. You've been socially engineered to buy into nonsense. And you don't even realize it, and you fighting for it. Junk is retarded, if you ask me. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't got no time to be talking about women ain't this and women ain't that. Stop wifing scallywags, nigga. At the end of the day, if you wife the scallywag, if you impregnated a foot dragger, if you got a bald-headed hoe on your team, that's your fault, nigga. You shouldn't have been thinking with your penis. You should have been thinking with your mind and actually prove this woman to see if she was a wife or not. You can't marry somebody and try to make her into a wife. You're a jackass. You're an idiot. You're an imbecile. If she wasn't a wife before you married her, she ain't gonna be one afterwards. You got to be stupid if you think you're gonna pull that off. That's not women, nigga, that's you. You have a character flaw and that you are an idiot. It's no different than a woman. Why is you trying to get with a dude and he ain't got nothing going on? I see his potential. I see you potentially stupid. Because if he's potentially sitting on the couch, farting, rubbing his balls, playing video games all day, that nigga ain't about nothing. So what you laying with him for? Because you're stupid. And you want to say, well, these men ain't this. No, it's the men you keep choosing. So then you would have to ask yourself, why do you keep attracting men that ain't about nothing? Then you would have to ask yourself, as a man, why are you approaching and pursuing women that ain't about nothing? Because guess what? People who don't do that, they don't complain about this stuff y'all complaining about. You know what they'll do? That nigga ain't about nothing. I'm going to leave him alone. She ain't hitting on nothing. I'm going to leave her alone. You know the people who have a modicum of intelligence and who don't think with their loins, they don't have these problems and they don't make these complaints. And if you're the type of dude that complain about a woman and because she don't do X, Y, Z, you a goofy. If the woman don't cook and you want a woman who cook, then don't mess with her. Don't sit here and talk about, see, that's why you can't do this here. You's a lame, man. If she don't cook, bro, leave her alone. If you know you want a woman who cook, bro, then get a woman who cook. Don't get a woman who knows how to just hit the drive-thru. Then get mad because she don't cook. You stupid. If you know you want a woman to nurture your children, but she don't like kids, then why would you put babies in her? If you know you want a man who's going to get out here and do what's necessary to provide for his family, why you going to get with a dude who don't want to do nothing and think you're going to love him into being a producer? You're stupid. You're an idiot. It's not that men's the problem. It's that you're devoid of any level of intelligence. And you know why you're devoid of the intelligence? Not because you inherently are an unintelligent person, but because you allowed your lust of your loins to remove your intelligence out of your mind, and you made a decision based off of emotion, based off of feeling, based off of desire, and that's what makes you stupid. Because you already know, when you operate according to lust, when you operate according to emotion, it removes intelligence from the equation. Because now you're not thinking straight. Because you can't think straight when you're in an emotional, carnal state. You can't do it. So you're not going to make a wise decision. So you have to blame yourself. I hear grown women talking about men tricking them out their vagina. You making us in the hole. Ain't nobody making you into nothing. I literally read a meme today from two different people. They just switched it around from man to woman. They talking about if my woman's an overthinker, then I ain't doing none of that. Because it's about building trust. If you overthink and create scenarios that don't exist, that's a you problem. And I'm not going to be held hostage to your overthinking to the point that I have to always over-explain myself to make you feel better about the insecurities you got in your brain. That means somebody else did this to you. I didn't do it, and I'm not going to be responsible for what this person did to you. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. But I'm an overthinker. You should reassure me. I ain't got to do nothing. You need to go see a therapist. Because you think that's fair to me, that I should be responsible for pain and hurt that I didn't cause? Is that fair to me? I don't think it is. That would be no different if you wasn't with this man. Say this man was with a woman, he was with her for 10 years. You know what I'm talking about? He had 2 kids by, found out the kids wasn't his. Now he meets you, you like him, and now all of a sudden he want to know where you going, and you got to explain. No, you go to slide, baby, because I didn't push out 2 babies and tell them they was yours and they wasn't. I'm not going to be responsible for that. You think that's fair to you? So then why should I have to do that? This is the level of stupidity that we have in this society, that it's my job to make you feel better about what the last nigga did to you. I wish I would. I'd rather smoke crack because that's the type of life I'm going to be living. I'm always going to be entrapped to your feelings. Who wants to live like that? That doesn't make you a noble, loving person. That makes you a fool. That makes you a fool. That's not wise. This is the stuff people be telling people. Let me ask you the question. You think your daddy would, that sound like something your daddy would say, or that sound like something your mama would say? Baby, if he's an overthinker, you got to over-explain because you're trying to build trust. That don't sound like nothing your daddy would tell you, now would it? So as a man, why would I listen to that? That's somebody, mama talking. You think the Lord come through to try to reassure you because you got hurt by some other path? You think he doing all that? Oh, you overthink about these scriptures. Let me make you feel better. No, man, I said what I said. I dropped this word. What you gonna do? Because I ain't got nothing to do with that. Didn't he say, come unto me, all you that are heavy laden, I'll give you rest? I didn't do that to you. You know that's what happened when we was in the wilderness, right? That they would think about Pharaoh. Did he come through and say, y'all overthinking, let me reassure? No, he didn't do that. Because I've already showed you who I am and what I'm about. What am I going to do all that for? If you don't trust in me, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. That ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't right. I only say that because that's how people be dealing with the word. Don't people overthink their way right out the word? Right on up out of it. He reassured me about all the questions I had. Because he know you stupid, that's why. Because you know what happens when you have all these questions and overthoughts? It leads to more. You'll never be satisfied with any level of evidence and answering of the question. It's never going to be enough. So he's not going to subject himself to that. Because you'll never be satisfied. Because then you have another thought, and another question, and another thought. Ain't that's what they say, going down the what? The rabbit hole. You got to ask yourself as a grown person, why are you going down rabbit holes? Come on, man. Oh, I ain't finished. 1 Peter 3 and 18. For HaMashiach also have once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to Elohim, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Ruach. See, that's what you didn't even notice, right? Because when Adam did that, technically he was put to death in the flesh, but he wasn't made alive by the Ruach, though. You see how he did some of the work of HaMashiach, but not the complete work? Because when he died, he said, you're going to die. He was put to death in the flesh, but he wasn't made alive by the Ruach. How do we know that? Sid, give me Genesis 3 and 20. I'll show you how. Genesis 3 and 20.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living.
That's right.
Unto Adam also and to his wife did Yahuwah Elohim make coats of skins and clothe them.
That's right.
Yahuwah Elohim said, behold,
what did he say?
The man has become as one of us.
He's become as what?
One of us.
He's become what?
One of us.
See, that one of us, that's not there. What it says is he's become a God. Look it up, Sylvie. Tell it to him. We all look it up while he's looking it up. What did it say? Become one of us. What Hebrew words do you have? You can start with become. One is a cod. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah. One is God. And then the other one is haya.
Because that a higher or become, that's to exist. That's the word that he say when he say I am. So he say he has existed a cod. It don't mean that it don't say how it reads in English. It reads a little different. But basically, he's become one. Because he said you're not joined when you join unto the Lord, you're joined unto what? One Ruach. So now he's been one, he's made one with us, but he's different from us. Keep on going.
To know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever.
Lest he do what?
Take of the tree of life and eat and live forever.
And live for what?
Forever.
The only way you can live forever is if you made alive by the what? By the Ruach. That didn't happen for Adam. See how he was put to death in the flesh, but he wasn't quickened by the Ruach because it wasn't his duty to fulfill what Yahusha was going to do. He's just showing you a pattern or a shadow of what is to come. Like we mentioned, he told you the end from the beginning. So if you can't see the end in Adam's life, you don't believe the word. Remember what we read every week, 3 times a week. If you would have believed Moses, you would have what? Because he did what? So it's not who wrote Genesis. Okay. So guess what that means? You don't believe Moses. That's why you don't believe him. That's why you can't see the grace and truth. The same way, you see how he say he kept the tree of life? So Adam wasn't supposed to bring grace and truth. Grace and truth is in the tree of life. Because it causes you to live forever. And how he said you would live forever? If you believed on him whom he sent. Who was bringing what? Faithful, loving kindness. That's not what Adam came to bring. Adam came and brought you the law, just like Moses. He was a law giver. Because who did Adam give the law to? His offspring. Come on, man. Verse 20. For which sometimes were disobedient when once the long suffering of Elohim, I skipped verse 19. By which also he went and preached unto the Ruachs in prison, which sometimes were disobedient when once of the long suffering of Elohim waited in the days of Noah while the ark was preparing, wherein few, that is 8 souls were saved by water, the like figure, wherein too baptism do now also save us, not the putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience towards Elohim by the resurrection of Yahusha HaMashiach. So when we go look at this cleansing of the leper, did it put away the filthiness of the flesh, or did it give him a good mind toward God? You see what I'm talking about? Let's come back to Leviticus 14, what we were talking about. Now, did y'all come up with something for that leper, with that Sarah, the Sad, Rosh, and Ayin? That's somebody who's diseased of the skin. Sad, Rosh, and Ayin. So we have way. You have beheld the way of Elohim. What is the way of Elohim? You got to cleanse your flesh by being made into his immersion. Give me Romans 6 and 1. I give you who to esteem. This is light work. You understand me? When we talk, let me tell you something. When I say light work, meaning the gospel is so easy to preach. It's so easy to learn. It's so easy to believe because it's just a manifestation of your God. There's no complexities or difficulties to Yahuwah. That's why he say, don't let anybody corrupt you from the simplicity that is in Mashiach. That's why when he say he bringing grace and truth, it's faithful, loving kindness. That's why he could say through Jeremiah, with loving kindness have I drawn you. See, most of us don't understand what faithful, loving kindness is because you've never experienced it. And see, faithful, loving kindness don't necessarily got to come from your mama, from your daddy. Faithful, loving kindness can come from a multitude of people in a multitude of different situations. Unfortunately, most people are not accustomed to having people who actually had love for you and were kind to you in a situation where they didn't have to be kind. See, Adam didn't have to be kind because he's representative of Yahusha, who didn't have to be kind. That's why, and we're going to get to it because you asked, was that is Matthew 5? It is Matthew 5. We're going to get to that in that Matthew 5. Bring it here. Ma, bring it here. You acting up? Don't you run scratching people? What? What about you? A boo. What a lot of people don't understand is this is what Mashiach was talking about in the Matthew 5 when he say, "What good is it if you are merciful to those who are merciful unto you?" Even though that's not this, because that takes nothing to do that. You know what I'm saying? It takes something to be kind to people who you don't have to be kind to. That's more exemplary of your character than it is just to be kind. Nevertheless, come on, man. Where you at in this?
Romans 6:1.
It's Romans 6:1.
What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
God said no.
Elohim forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein?
That's right.
Know you not that so many of us as were baptized into Yahusha HaMashiach
were immersed into his what?
Death.
Into his what?
His death.
Why?
Therefore we are buried with him by immersion into death.
Into what?
Into death.
That we should do what?
As Mashiach was raised up from the dead by the esteem of the Father, even so we also should walk in newness of life.
Walk in newness of what?
Of life.
In newness of what?
Of life.
Ain't that what happened when the people get cleansed from their leprosy? They got a new life now. They no longer have this disease that's in their skin. See, what you ain't understanding, you got a disease in your skin. It's called death. Go ahead.
For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall be also his resurrection. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with, that the body of sin might be destroyed.
Might be what?
Destroyed.
Might be what?
Destroyed.
What else?
That henceforth we should not serve sin.
That you should not serve what?
Sin.
Not serve what?
Sin.
Okay, come on back to Leviticus 14. Let's take a look. You can pick me up at verse 1 more time. Remember, leper is Sa, Rosh, Ayin. You have beheld the way of the highest. And the way of the highest is to put your flesh to death and be cleansed. I put it to you this way, right? Didn't it say that Moses stuck his hand in his bosom? And how did it say his hand came out? Leprous. And when he put it back in, it came out fresh like baby skin. That would have said. Let me take a look at it. Come over here to Exodus chapter 4. Let you who will be a thing. Maximize these nuts. Exodus chapter 4, right? I'm gonna pick you up at verse 3. No. Pick you up at verse 5. Matter of fact, that ain't gonna work because that's the completion of the last thing before that. Exodus 4 and 6. Yahuwah said furthermore unto him, put now your hand into your bosom. He put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand leprous as snow. And he said, put your hand into your bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his flesh. And it shall come to pass that they will not believe you, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. You know what I'm talking about? Now just come on back. Let's look at Leviticus 14 and 1. Notice that he used leprosy as a sign to show you that he would heal your flesh. Because guess what? When Yahusha went in the grave, he came out with different types. He went in one way, came out another. Because guess what? When you die, guess what your flesh would be? Unclean. Because guess what a leper is? Unclean. I don't even think too many people done seen a leper. I know I ain't seen them. I think some people, you know what black folks used to say is acid, somebody who drank too much soda. That could have been leprosy, but their skin wasn't white, but it's definitely a skin disease of some sort. You know what I'm talking about? What kind of, that's what they said. He got vitiligo, probably with leprosy. Because they said it made your skin white, that's probably leprosy. Huh? You had vitiligo?
Not vitiligo, but I think the acid spots, I have white spots on my face.
You was a leper?
I don't know.
Leprodoris.
The soda drinking, that's what somebody told me.
That's what people tell you, but in the old times, that's what they would call you. They would call you Doris the leper.
But it was like moon shape, and then it just went away after.
Eczema is in the text. No, eczema is in the text. Eczema is one of the plagues of Egypt. It's one of the curses. Yeah, that's it. That's literally in the text. It's been a while since we talked, but that's in the text about eczema. That's one of the evidence, because when you look around, it's all races of people have eczema, but it seems to affect black people overwhelmingly. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's one of the plagues. That's in the text. So live. That's one of the evidence where you see that be one of them small things that you would shalom Shaul, that you would know that you the people, because eczema affects black people disproportionately compared to other nationalities of people. Same way that sickle cell is exclusive. I ain't never met a white man with sickle cell anemia. I think I've never heard of any race of people other than black people that have. That's not to say that there's not any. I've just never heard of it. Because remember, right, he said all the plagues and botches in Egypt, like he say them botches and all that in Deuteronomy 28, one of them it literally translates to eczema. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, you got that rough, scaly skin. That means somebody in your family was disobedient to God and it fell on you. Don't worry about it, because even if you ain't got no eczema, you sitting here in America dealing with Mr. Charlie, somebody in your family was disobedient to God and it fell on you. This is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. Leviticus 14:1 one more time.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought unto the priest.
And what happened?
And the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper. Then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 birds alive, clean, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop.
What did they bring the Lord when they came and brought him that vinegar? We just talked about it. They brought that hyssop. Give him hyssop by definition. Tell him what it is.
That's azob, that is hyssop, a plant used for medicinal and religious purposes.
A plant that's used for healing purposes. That's what they came to bring to Mashiach. Some hyssop. So he could be healed. Now, of course, the scarlet, that's self-explanatory. But give it to him by definition anyway.
So law, that is a warm scarlet stuff of crimson.
What they put on the Lord? A scarlet robe. The cedar wood is self-explanatory. So you put the scarlet and the medicinal purposes on what? On the cedar wood. Well, what's the medicinal purposes of healing for Mashiach? It was the spirit. See, the law can't heal you. I'm sorry to tell you. Who you ever seen in a text that had a plague of any sort that was healed by the law? I know not any. You know what I'm talking about? That's when they go, see, he telling people not to keep the law. Your mammy don't keep it, nigga. Because that ain't what nobody said, but that's what you heard because you don't keep it. And I keep saying it like that for a reason. Because anytime you hear somebody and you go to talk about the faith and power that exists in this man's spirit, and the power that come in faith, and the first thing they scream is, man, you tell the people not to keep the law. That's for somebody who don't keep it themselves. And they're trying to push that on you, because nowhere in anything you saying that diminished the law or told anybody not to keep it. But if you think the law is over faith, you a special type of stupid. Do you know what I'm talking about? That means you don't know God. That means you've been reading the book wrong. You've been reading the book wrong. Because guess what? When he called Abraham out, Abraham ain't had no law to keep. When you go read Genesis chapter 12, Abraham lived amongst idolaters. What law did he have? He ain't had none. That man came from Ur Chaldees. He came from Babylon. His father was an idol worshiper. He called that man out. That's grace and truth. Guess what? When he came and called you out of Egypt, guess what you didn't have? You ain't had no law neither. So what is you talking about? Man, that's what you sit back and you see like people really don't know the word. You just like the people who crucified that man. You just like the people who stoned the apostles. Because in your keeping and thinking you keeping the law, you actually breaking it because you don't believe it. And you think you justify because you keep a Sabbath day and you don't eat shrimp and pork. Like that make you righteous because you don't eat shrimp, nigga. You full of malice, envy, and lust. You might as well went and got that shrimp scampi. You should have went and got that lobster bisque with extra bisque, nigga. Like straight up. Like, and I'm putting it like that for a reason. Because if your heart is filthy, what good is it that you don't eat pork? What good is it? I don't eat them sea roaches. But you got a roach's heart. You're envious. You're covetous. You're jealous. You got the evil eye. You blaspheme. You tell lies. You got idols in your heart. You think you special because you don't eat shrimp? Well, you in a bad way. You in a bad spot. We don't want to talk about that, though. Because that would mean that somebody would actually have to make a new heart and purge themselves of all these filthy things that are dwelling in their tabernacle. So it's easy to focus on what's easy. That's why he said, get it for me, man. Matthew 23 and 23. Only because we talk about this in Jeremiah 9. We don't want to talk about the stuff he delight in. You think he delight in you around here? Talking about, you know, pork on my fork. Shut your stupid behind up. Matthew 23 and 23.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites.
What?
For you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin.
You know how easy it is to pay a tithe? You think that's something difficult to do? It don't take no effort to pay no tithe. But see what Brew would be saying, see, you ain't got to pay no tithe. I know you don't want to pay none, you selfish bastard. Of course you ain't. Because you know why you ain't going to pay it? Because you don't give a damn about giving to Yahuwah what he done gave to you. You don't give a damn about the fathers. You don't give a damn about the widows. You don't give a damn about the poor. You don't give a damn about the priests. If we just talking about the aspect of what them tithes was for, it was to benefit all these people at large. You understand? Because we already know, according to the text, how many times a year you supposed to tithe anyway? 3. So this ain't something you were doing every week. Everything you was doing besides that were regular, free will, voluntary offerings. You know what I'm talking about? But see, nobody, they don't see Brew don't want to talk about that. But they swear up and down they know the law and don't know nothing. They don't even know proper administration. We didn't talk about that many times before. Don't the law have a building fund? It certainly does. Like you had that, that's why he don't dwell in temples made with him. Shut your goofy behind up. Anything that a nigga could come up with not breaking bread, they gonna go on the text and try to figure out a way not to do it. But you'll give Mr. Charlie everything you got. You'll have a nigga got a problem with a sinner spending money on Beyonce tickets, but you got a problem with somebody say, how about you just give something to help the Lord and his people? What's wrong with you? The people of antiquity definitely didn't think like this, who were actually in Elohim. They didn't think like this. Why you think like this? Because you a broke, selfish bastard. That's why. And I don't want none of you niggas to think that this is a underhanded, manipulative ploy to ask you to send no money, because ain't nobody asking you to send a damn, not a nickel. You know what I'm talking about? This ain't about you sending nothing. This about you checking your heart. Let that be known. Ain't nobody asking you for nothing. You ain't never came on here and seen no Venmo, no Cash App, no PayPal, no nothing. Ain't nobody asked you to Zelle, nothing. Nobody asked you to send a dime. Unless you coming down here to feast, then you need to break bread because you trying to eat. You need to make sure you put some money in the pot. That's only right. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm talking about in regards to what we dealing with in the manifestation of the righteousness of Elohim. Well, these niggas full of crap, man. But you ready to give to Mr. Charlie. You got to give it to Yahuwah. See, nah, brother. See, the tithes was only food and grains. So if we go in this text and show you it one, we ought to take your Bible and slap you with it. You know what I'm talking about? That's a whole nother conversation. Because again, it ain't about the money. It's about that you're wrong. That you don't know what you're talking about. Because guess what? What did we also read? Who else got the tithe that people don't think got the tithe, Civic? The priest had to do it too. So what is he talking about? How many brews you ever heard say he was read to you that the priest had the tithe? I ain't heard now. Since they say the tithe for the priest, didn't it? But the priest had the tithe too. So what is you talking about? That's Numbers 18 for those of you who don't know that. Come on, Sid.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin and have omitted the weightier of the law.
You done what?
Omitted the weightier of the law.
You done what?
Omitted the weightier.
You have omitted the weightier matters. And what are those matters, good sir?
Judgment, mercy, and faith.
Judgment and what?
Mercy and faith.
Judgment and what?
Mercy and faith.
Oh, that sounds like grace and truth. Now, don't they, Cindy? Mm-hmm. You've omitted judgment, mercy, and truth. That's what you've done. You have omitted the faithful, loving kindness of Elohim. And these that you ought to done and not to left undone. That's what he said. So while you around here talking about some doggone, you don't eat sea roaches, but you ain't met you doing that, but you omitting the faithful, loving kindness and judging between right and wrong. So you might as well have ate that. Because that's nothing. I want to tell you something, man. Showing up for a Sabbath and not eating pork chops and shrimp is so easy. But you know how difficult it is to show mercy? Do you understand how difficult it was for David to do what he did for Saul, to have that faithful, loving kindness continually when a man trying to kill you? You know how difficult that is? That take the mind of God to do that. The law can't produce that in you. You got to have that man's spirit in you. Man, these niggas dumb as hell. Come on back to Matthew 8, man. Junk be pissing me off the whole time. I ain't gonna lie to you. Where I'm at, man. But I'm just mentioning that for a testimony, right? That's what he said. Go bring that for a testimony. Matter of fact, I think you got one more line you need to read in Leviticus 14, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like we ain't complete. What verse you ain't good, sir?
Wow.
Leviticus 14 and 5, everybody.
And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water.
This is what he said. He demanded one of the birds be what?
Killed in an earthen vessel.
And what kind of vessel?
Earthen vessel.
Oh, the Lord was in an earthen. Didn't he say we had this treasure in earthen vessels? Run over with what?
Running water.
Oh, man. Going to get baptized then to cleanse that flesh. Come on, man. Look at you.
As for the living bird, he shall take it and the cedar wood and the scarlet and the hyssop, and shall dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird killed over the running water. And he shall sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed from the leprosy 7 times.
7 what?
7 times.
How many times he told Naaman the Syrian to dip in that water? 7 times.
And shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose into the open field. And he that is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes and shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water that he may be clean.
That he might be what?
And after that, he shall come into the camp and shall tarry abroad out of his tent 7 days.
Notice, and he said all the things that Yahusha say, go do this as a witness. Because I cleansed you from this. You didn't get cleansed from any of this stuff right here, right? You got cleansed because I said it. Because the mercy with God. That man got cleansed different than what the law said ever get cleansed, didn't it? Because the mercy with God, the mercy ain't in the law. He said, now go do that as a witness so they can see God did it. Yeah. Some people say that the text don't really allude to that. But for us, it would be completion because on the 7th day, he completed all his work and he rested. But you know what I'm saying? But and layman's terms, people say 7 is completion. But for us, it's more so he ended his work on the 7th. And he didn't do no work. So that's why that 7 come in, because it's representative of the rest. It's representative of the finishing of the work.
I was thinking too, I could be wrong, but he ain't dipped 7 times. That cleansing for the 7 times he failed the work.
I mean, if we want to go in that direction, depending on the topic, we definitely could. You know what I'm talking about? Which is the fall into 7 abominations and rise again. You know, but the beauty of the testimony of Yahusha, which is the Ruach of prophecy, is that we see the breadth of his righteousness in all things because we believe, so we can see him. And because we see him, it's not for the because of course, we used to talk about this years ago, because a lot of people thought what we was doing. Look at what we know. That's not what this is about. Because if you know him, then guess what you can be able to do? You can commune with him. And if you can commune with him, then he can be able to minister to you in whatever it is that you're facing in your life. He'll minister, he's going to serve you with the same very word that you come in here week after week because you believe. And it goes back to what we were talking about in the previous topic of, I seen one like the Son of Man and he strengthened me. Because now in whatever lower state you might be, because you are able to understand and you believe, he can give you strength for you to overcome whatever matter that you encounter. Give him Isaiah 40 and 28 because it mentioned that. That's why we do this. Because you're going to need, let me tell you something, I've been telling y'all this for years. You're going to need your faith to overcome the things that's going to come in the earth. And if you don't know this man and you're not in him and he's not in you, then you're not going to have the strength to overcome. Because when the tribulation and the persecutions arise because of his name and for the word's sake, you not eating pork and shrimp is not going to help you overcome that. He said they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. You're going to need that faith to overcome. The law not going to do it for you. Your nationality is not going to do it for you. That's not going to get you the victory. See, I don't know what other people about, but we trying to win over here. That's what we looking to do. And the victory has already been attained. So the way that we win is by holding on. Then we just read where he said, just touch the hem of his garment that they might be healed. We know, man, look here, man, just like it says in Zechariah 8 and 23. He said they're going to come out of the nations and they all going to grab the skirt of him who is the Yahudim and say, we going with you. We heard Elohim is with you. So we already know he done won. So we grabbing hold to the hem of his garment. We going with you. Because if I go with you, I know I'm going to win. See, like this here, right? See, everybody like to have these sports debates about certain players and this, that, that, and the third. And you can like whoever you want to like. But I'll put it to you this way. When you step on the court, you step on the field, whatever the case may be, and you got a choice to be with a nigga who you think raw or a nigga who going to win, who you going to choose? Because if you a winner, you're going to want to go with where the winner's at. You know why? Because the winners are going to push you to the point that you become a winner or you're not going to be able to be on this team. You know what I'm talking about? See, it's different, and this is not to disparage any of you. That's why some people look at Jordan differently than LeBron. That's why some people look at Kobe differently than LeBron. It's not to say that either one of those men are that LeBron is a loser. They just deem his character as not the character of somebody who wants to win at all costs, which is not necessarily true. You know what I'm talking about? But of course, we didn't have this conversation before. Those two men who I would mention, they were raised by a man. And the mentality of a man who's raised by a man is different than somebody who was raised by a woman. Because a man who, when I say man, I mean a man. If you were raised by a man, that man gonna give you a killer's mentality. What is a killer's mentality? That means no matter what adversity I face, no matter what hardship, no matter what because guess what? To be a winner, 9 times out of 10, you might be disliked. Because you're going to push people so hard because you push yourself that hard. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to toss your soldiers under the bus. You know everything rises and falls with you. You know what I'm talking about? And men who have been raised by men, they're more than likely going to gravitate to that. You know what I'm saying? They're going, because we already know this here. That dude, they'll be passive aggressive. If you're a man, you're not following a man who's like that. You're going to diss me in the media instead of coming to me to my face? That's gay. I would rather you tell me I'm a sorry piece of trash right in my eyes. I'd respect you more for it. You know what I'm talking about? But that's just the difference. It doesn't take away from one over the other. We're just talking about men with men. Remember what we were talking about? What men look in a leader versus what women look for is totally different. Now, see, like Brother Reynolds and Brother Ellis and other brothers who've been in the military, you know, it's different. You can tell if you really go do an examination on a lot of the men who have high-ranking positions in the military, most of them were raised by men who happen to be in the military also. Not all the time, but that's for the most part. It's a difference. Indeed, Brother Ellis, you know what I'm saying? It's just a difference with somebody who they just not going to keep going. They just not going to stop. You're going to have to kill them. You know what I'm saying? And that takes an unwavering confidence and belief in yourself. So when you turn around and you look at Yahusha, his unwavering confidence in the promises of his father, there was no way that he was going to quit, and there was no way that he was going to lose. That wasn't going to happen. You know what I'm talking about? And the law didn't produce that. It was produced because if he's the only begotten son, that means he was raised by what? By a man. We read it in John 5. He said, my father taught me everything my father do, the son do likewise. So he was instructed by a man. So that's a certain type of mentality that he gonna have. See, some people hear that. See, this sounds like you're talking about single mothers. You and your feelings. This ain't got nothing to do with no woman, because we know there's a lot of things a woman can do. And one thing she can't do is instruct a man on becoming a man and being a leader of men. She doesn't have the point of reference to speak from. That's nothing against her. That's just reality. See, you got to get out of this stuff about you thinking it's speaking one against another. Some things just are. And it's not a right or a wrong thing. It's just reality. Deal with it. You know what I'm talking about? It's just what it is. It's not a big deal. Just like I mentioned y'all when dudes shared the thing talking about the women wouldn't die for their husband. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just reality. Get over it. As a man, I'm going to be looking at you kind of sideways if you get upset, if you feel like your wife won't die for you. Why would you even have that type of expectation? You know what I'm talking about? Why would you have an expectation that she would sacrifice her life for you? She don't got that type of bond with you, man. You're not her child. In her mind quickly goes into survival and that you're supposed to be protecting me. It doesn't click into her mind, let me protect my husband. That doesn't enter into her mind. I'll step in a bullet for him. No, she's not. The bullets get to flying, she getting out the way. And unless she's trained to use weapons, she is out of the way. If she's trained to use weapons, she might shoot back. But if not, she gonna take cover. If you know the natural instinct that a man's gonna do for the woman he loves, he gonna make sure that her life is protected before he even worry about his own. That's the same thing the Lord did. And that's the same thing Adam did. You know what I'm saying? And that just is what it is. Deal with it. Stop crying like a little hoe. That's why I hate some of these niggas, man. Because you cry like little hoes, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might as well just go sit on the toilet and pee. Because you're not no man. Because you crying about the wrong stuff. I done heard grown men say we shouldn't have to have that type of pressure on our shoulders. You niggas cowards. You want the spoils of manhood, but you don't want the responsibilities of it? Come on, my G. What type of world we living in, Civic? It's a world I don't want to be in. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hate it here. And I ain't saying that because that's what people like to say on the internet. I really dislike it here. And it's not because of white men. It's the fact that these niggas out here disgust me. You know how I look at these niggas, Lee? Is if somebody came and brought me a plate with Brussels sprouts and liver on it. No, I don't. I detest them. I've tried Brussels sprouts. I despise them to the highest level. She ain't had no Brussels sprouts in here. What you had them in? Cool. No, I didn't. It definitely looked like broccoli to me. That junk looked like cauliflower. That's all you ever make is cauliflower, macaroni, and cheese. It ain't like cabbage. Huh? What you say, Lee?
If it's good, right, you want
He'll say I as well. It's horrible.
It's good when it's good, right?
That's what everybody say about stuff that ain't good. It just ain't cooked right. I'm gonna bring some for a potluck. You testing your luck. You testing your luck. What you doing? Liver is just despicable. And the sad part about it is the Florida Department of Corrections likes to serve it every week. They ain't have to eat nothing. I got food in my locker. I gotta eat this crap. My people love me. They send me money. You know what I'm talking about? That's the beauty when you be in prison. Somebody send you money, you can decline that meal. When you ain't got no money, you gotta eat him. You know what I'm talking about? Because if you don't eat them, your stomach gonna be right here, touching your back. You know what I'm saying? And you laying on your bunk looking sad. Damn, breakfast ain't till 6 in the morning. Woo! Don't pay me no mind. Matthew 8 and 5. And,
Isaiah 40.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Isaiah 40 and 28.
Have you not known? Have you not heard?
Mm-hmm.
The everlasting Elohim, Yahuwah, the creator of the ends of the earth, faint not, neither is weary. No searching of his understanding. He give power to the faint, and to no might he increase strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall.
That's right.
But they that wait upon Yahuwah,
will do what?
Renew strength.
They will do what?
Renew strength.
That's right.
They shall mount up with wings as eagles.
They will mount up as who?
With wings as eagles.
And what else?
They shall run and not be weary.
They shall run and not be weary.
They shall walk and not faint.
And you ain't gonna faint. Sean just said if you cook it like cabbage, it's doable. When he said you got to cook it like cabbage, you know, he's a master chef. He would know. Bacon. That nigga, I put turkey bacon.
Turkey, don't say bacon.
Man, I think everybody in here. I don't think at this point that anybody needs to qualify that it's turkey or beef bacon. I think everybody on here at this point knows that everybody is using turkey bacon or sausage or chicken sausage. I don't think we have to qualify that anymore. And if somebody gonna put they eating bacon, and you eat coochie, so there's that. You know what I'm talking about? Shayla said, "Nah, she still can't. She don't care how you cook it." Lee said, "You eat Brussels sprouts and that stir fry you be making." Lee said, "You eat Brussels sprouts? I seen it." She said, "Unless you pick them out." I know she ain't doing that.
Yeah, they be fine shade.
She just said, "I pick them out." She literally just said that. Matthew 8 and 5. And when Yahusha entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion beseeching him, saying, "Lord, my servant lie at home, sick of the palsy, grievously tormented." Yahusha said unto him, "I will come and heal him." The centurion said, "Lord, I'm not worthy that you should come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I'm a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this, go, and he go, and to another, come, and he come, and to my servant, do this, and he do." And when Yahusha heard, he marveled and said unto them that followed, "Truly I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Yasharal." Can any of y'all think of a Gentile, one of another nation, that showed the same level of faith that this Roman centurion showed? Dang, I was supposed to get my hair rebraided. That nigga. I didn't say specify anybody. I just said, "Can you name somebody?" I really narrows it down. This is what you do to your students. Yeah, that's how we feel about that. That boy don't care. I ain't even look civic. I don't even know. Well, I looked at it yesterday, but I couldn't tell if that junk started to close up. They said that junk could take 1 to 4 weeks to close up if you needed stitches and you didn't get it. Y'all ain't thinking nobody yet? No, you ain't thinking nobody? Oh, yeah, that felt great. No, that man was killed. Yeah. He got killed. He got murked. He got slaughtered. He got put away out of his misery. So y'all ain't came up with nothing yet. Stanley said Rahab the harlot.
That's who I was talking about.
How you said a woman? There's a lot of women in here. I didn't know who you were talking about. How we know that? Would you accept that from one of your students?
If I kind of knew this,
But how? You just said a woman.
Nigga will get
I
partial
really
credit.
didn't know it was a woman. I just didn't know the name.
Mother Sharona said Cornelius, and that's in Acts 10. That's a different gentleman. Now, it's not just Rahab. There's more people in here than Rahab. She ain't the only one. The Ethiopia, but see, I ain't trying to do New Testament. I'm trying to think of what a dude is named, man. The Gibeonites, the stunt they with the bad bread and all that there is because they believed. And they were just trying to get over on the people. They believed everything Yahuwah had going on.
I don't know, just something with David was like the man who helped him. I don't know, he went against what he was supposed to do to help him when he gave him a weapon or something.
That was Jonathan. That was a girl. There was a Gentile that walked with David who said, "Man, I'm going wherever you go." You know what I'm talking about? I forget his name. Who's she talking about?
I said, that's probably what she thinks about. The nigga's like, I'm going with you.
She ain't thinking about it. Come on back over here. She telling stories.
What was the section?
No, that's Rahab the harlot.
Oh, that's right. What about the one who helped out David?
A lot of people helped out David.
When she was trying, when he was trying to sneak out, she was like, Saul's daughter. She was like,
She was a Hebrew.
All right.
Mother Sharona just mentioned Ruth. She was a Moabite. Sean mentioned the Shumanite woman with Elisha. She wasn't a Brew either. You can also look at the woman from Tyre and Zidon who Elijah was sent to, because she wasn't a Brew neither. She was a Hamite. You know what I'm saying? And there's several people in this text who believed on Yahuwah and they weren't Gentiles. And because like with Rahab, all she did was they just heard of him. He didn't experience, they just heard what he had done. You know what I'm saying? I think because I can't pronounce that name, Brother Rose. I think Maheshabeth, I think that's one of Saul's sons. I think he was lame in the leg. So that was one of Saul's sons. No, he got murdered. He didn't hear nothing and believe. He just saw Dinah and liked her and smashed her. But he didn't hear Yahuwah and believe, because he would have heard of Yahuwah, he wouldn't have smashed her. Who? Shalom, Brother Francis. She was a Brew too. Yeah, she was a Brew too. That's right. That's Jonathan's son. Come on back in Matthew 8:10. And when Yahusha heard, he marveled and said unto them that followed, Truly I say unto you that I have not found so great faith, no, not in Yasharal. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the Malkuth for Shamahim. But the sons of the Malkuth shall be cast out into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Yahusha said unto the centurion, Go your way, as you have believed, be it done unto you. See, that's the difference when you look at this Roman centurion. This man was to the point where he said, No, speak a word only. No law was involved in this. He didn't say, Master, I keep all the Sabbaths. He said, man, speak it only. Now, how many of y'all got that level of faith that you would come to the Lord and you had a request of him and all you would look him in the face and tell him is just speak the word? Because I tell a man to go and he go. And I tell a man to come and he come. So I know. He said, listen what this man said one more time. He said, I am a man under authority having soldiers unto me. I say to this man, go and he go. To another, come and he come. And to my servant, do this and he do. Man, come on, man. You can't just read that and scoop past what this man just said. He said, I'm a man under authority. All I got to do is tell a man what to do and it's complete. So I know full well that's all you got to do. You ain't got to come in my house. You ain't got to do this. You ain't got to do that. Just speak the word, because he knew in his mind, once he speak it, that's a wrap. Most of us ain't got that level of faith, man. We out here capping. You know what I'm talking about? Most of us ain't got that type of mind. You wish you would have that mind like that Roman centurion. That's why he marveled at it. He said, I ain't never seen nobody in Yasharal got no faith like this here. And guess what? It's like that now. You ain't got that level of faith. That's why you rejoice in the law so much. That's why you rejoice in your circumcision so much. Because you don't rejoice in Yahuwah because you don't believe in him. They don't want to hear that. You sound like a Christian, and your daddy sound like a crackhead. Verse 13, Matthew 8. And Yahusha said unto the centurion, Go your way, and as you have believed, be it done unto you. And his servant was healed in the selfsame hour. Notice he said, as you believe, let it be done. So that means within 60 minutes, that was accomplished because that man believed he could do it. And when Yahusha came into Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother laid and sick of a fever. He touched her hand and the fever left her, and she arose and served him. And when the even was come, they were brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the ruachs with word and healed all that were sick. Notice that he did all this with just the word. That's why when I see that story in the Apocrypha and they come about this man took fish guts and all this other type of stuff to get an unclean spirit out, that's why I can't rock with that. Because, boy, I'm reading right here, the Lord did it with just a word. What the hell I need fish guts for? Verse 17, Matthew 8, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, himself took our infirmities and bare sicknesses. See, that's the part that we don't even look at, that at every level of weakness you had, he took it and carried it. See how you can see that with the leprosy and his sacrifice? Every weakness you got, he took it and bore it in his own flesh. Get him 1 Peter chapter 1, sir, verse 20. We still got Matthew 5 and Psalm 77. We about to get to the tie-in to Psalms 89, but you know how we go. We didn't get straight to it. Go ahead, man. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 20.
Who truly was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you.
For who?
For you.
For somebody else.
For you.
That man came here for you. Listen to him.
Who by him do believe in Elohim.
By him you do what?
Believe in Elohim.
Well, you can't believe in the Father without the Son. Boy, I'm here to tell you, if you say you can, you're the thief and the robber, you climbing up some other way.
And gave him esteem that your faith and hope might be in Elohim.
That your faith and hope might be in who?
Elohim.
In man.
In Elohim.
In the law.
In Elohim.
Praise Yahuwah.
Seeing you have purified your souls and obeying the truth through the Ruach unto unfeigned love of the brethren, love one another with a pure heart fervently, being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible, by the word of Elohim, which live and abide forever. For all flesh as grass, and all things made.
Yeah, you can say that too, Brother Reynolds, because Obed Edom the Gittite was definitely a brew who believed on a word. And it was and we just read 2 Samuel 6 earlier calls in regards to how the ark of Yahuwah dwelt in the house, and the stranger's house was blessed and increased the entire time that it was there. I know I had you read that, but that ain't what I needed chapter 2. Chapter 2 and 21, but it's still there. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. So definitely can't talk about Obed Edom the Gittite.
For even hereunto were you called.
Hold on, but that wasn't the Gittite that was like, wherever you go, I'm going. That was a different gentleman. Go ahead. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21.
For even hereunto were you called, because HaMashiach also suffered for us.
He also what?
Suffered for us.
Doing what?
Leaving us an example.
Leaving us a what?
An example.
That we should what?
Follow his steps.
Follow his what?
His steps.
Okay.
Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth.
So he didn't transgress, so that means he was faithful, which is the truth, and he didn't tell no lies. Go ahead.
Who when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not. But committed to him that judged righteously.
He did what?
Committed to him.
He committed himself to him who judges righteously is what he did. You understand what level of faith you got to have that when you suffering, you don't threaten to kill the people who persecuting you. When these people selling out about you, you don't sell out back. But you commit yourself to him who judges righteously, because you know, according to Habakkuk chapter 1, wrong judgment proceed. But you know what the law say, that he'll never justify the wicked over the righteous. So therefore you suffer against being contrary to yourself. See, that's a level of faith right there. That ain't no law. The law don't produce that. Read it again.
Who when he reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed to him that judged righteously.
That's right.
Who his own self bare our sins in his own body.
Don't you realize that every time he, for the most part, and it's not always necessarily the case, for the most part, any affliction that you see in a person is either from their own sins or sins in their generation that's fallen on them. Now, not always that's not the case. Remember what it said in John 9, right? When the apostles with the blind man, what did the apostles ask the Lord? Who did sin? His mother or his father? What the Lord told him? Said ain't nobody sin. He said this man blind so you can see the mighty works of God. That's it. But then you seen the dude who was of the palsy, and what the Lord said to him when he told him take up his bed and walk. Lest a worse thing come upon you. So you know what I'm saying? Just because something happened to somebody don't necessarily mean they sinned, but it also doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't. You know what I'm talking about? So you got to understand, somebody can get cancer and it could be punishment to them for their sins. Somebody could get cancer and it could just be simply time and chance, like Ecclesiastes say. So I didn't want you to understand that. And the reason why I mention it like that is I don't want you to look at somebody who has something negative happening in their life and you do like what Job friends did and automatically pull the sin card. Don't go pull the sin card because something negatively happens to somebody's life. That's not. Sometimes something negative happens to somebody's life is for the glory of Elohim to come later. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with that. Oh, I know why they going through that. He must be wicked. You wicked for even thinking that in your heart. You ought to repent. You know what I'm saying? You should look at people like that and think, oh, he getting punished for their sins. Sometimes some people remember what Obadiah said during the time of Elijah when he was like, yeah, man, go get Ahab for me. He said, you calling my sins to remembrance? Because that's how some of the people, man, you trying to get me killed. This must be for something I done done. You know what I'm saying? Some people think that way. Something happening to him. Oh, is he calling my sins to remember? Some things could give me Romans 5:1. Just write that. We'll do that. Romans 5:1.
Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with Elohim through our Lord Yahusha HaMashiach.
So therefore, being righteous by faith, you got peace with God. Go ahead.
By whom also we have access by faith into his mercy wherein we stand.
You have access by faith into his what?
His grace.
So the only way you can get access to his mercy is by faith. Now let's just take a stop for a minute. Let's just pause for a moment. Oh, praise Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah. Let me stop y'all for a minute. Read that for me one more time.
By whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand and rejoice in.
We have access into this faith by what?
His mercy.
By where we stand. Mm-hmm. So we have access to the mercy of God through faith. Now I want each and every one of y'all to pause for a minute. I want you to think about somebody who got access to the mercy of God because of the law. Where can you read it at? If you can find me somebody who got access to Yahuwah's mercy because of the law, I'll climb on top of this roof and jump off of it right now. See, I can make a bold attestation like that because it ain't there. Look at Nisha, I'm going to find it so that nigga can do it.
They just want to see you climb up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to get alive.
No,
I didn't say how I climb. Because, nigga, what I look like, Spider-Man, nigga? You shoot, that's your son like to wear Spider-Man tights. I don't. But can you think of anybody who had the access to the mercy of God by faith? Because I can think of plenty. Noah. Who? David. Yeah. Abraham. All day long. Now, how many people can you think of had access to mercy by the law? Because when he showed mercy to Joseph, no law was involved. It wasn't law that got Joseph up out of that dungeon. It wasn't law that got Abraham called up out of there. It wasn't law that got Lot delivered out of Sodom and Gomorrah. It wasn't law that got Abraham to go recovering. One thing about the law, it can put you to death, but it can't give you no merciful love and kindness. I can tell you that. It's not there. That's why we always focus on the aspect of Yahuwah declaring his name, because he declared his name, and the first thing he said is Yahuwah Elohim, merciful and gracious. The first thing that he declared in his name is that he is merciful. That's the first thing he said. That's what he led with. Shalom, man, shalom. That's what he led with. Now, see, our good brother here, right? The name of his channel, he got the gift of eternal life. Do you understand that that gift is literally a gift of mercy? That's literally what it is. You get the gift of the Ruach HaKadosh because of mercy. That is a merciful given gift. It's not a law-given gift. See, we don't understand this. Look here, man. I know why we don't understand it. I know why we don't understand it. Because you mad with the church. Now, Sister Alicia mentioned this before, and I done told y'all this. I never been to church. So I don't know what people experienced while they was in church. But what I do know is, as I said last week, most of you niggas were not card-carrying members and servants dedicated in nobody's church. That was not your life. You can't bear witness to that. You didn't dedicate your life to whatever church you was a part of for you to be walking around here. If I ran across somebody and they say, man, I dedicated 2 years, 10 years, 5 years, 8 years of my life to this church, and they would teach me wrong, I could understand why they were mad. But you know what I've seen in a small sample size of an experience? That the people who actually were dedicated to the church and they found out that the doctrine was wrong, they were never mad. They weren't mad at the pastors. They weren't mad at nobody. They just be like, hey, pray God that he showed me the right way. They didn't look at the men and be like, they looked at it and, hey, the brothers taught what they thought was right, but clearly it wasn't right. It's always the niggas who weren't going there on a regular basis who mad. Somebody explain to me how that works. You know how that works. To justify they wrong. I would agree. Because guess what, right? If you went to a church, like you said, you went and you knew your pastor and stuff like that, you would know that most of these people, they just regular people. They teaching what they believe is correct. Hey, and you never know who are going to what road he'll take somebody down. Because you know why? Because every pastor in every church is not some dude who just there and want money like the stereotype is. Some of these men have a sincere desire to serve Yahuwah. You don't think Yahuwah know that? You don't think he'll get them the information where he can serve him properly? Because he know the hearts of men. He know the men who want to do it and the men who don't. He already know that. So you got to get out your feelings about that because you done learned a piece of information and you think you smarter than the pastor, but you dumber than a third grader, nigga. That junk just pissed me off, bro. Like I said, I ain't never been in no church, and I ain't never walked around here and be like Pastor Poke Chop and being all mad with the pastor. I don't know these people. I don't got no reason to be mad with them. They teaching us lies. Okay, so what? You ain't mad at your third grade teacher. She taught you lies too. You went all through high school and college with all manner of teachers and professors. Hell, your mama them lied to you. Some of you niggas been looking at your mama and she told you your daddy was your daddy, but that wasn't your daddy, and you ain't mad at her. You know what I'm talking about? Some of you ain't mad at your daddy. He told you he was coming back to go get some milk. He ain't been back in 15 years. You ain't mad at him. Some of you, come on, man. Some of you mad with you. You ain't mad with your wife. She been lying to you. You ain't mad with her, but you mad with the preacher at the church that you only went to on watch service, Christmas, and Easter. You only showed up 3 times a year, and when you did something really, really bad, and you felt, I need to go to church, I need some forgiveness. You know what I'm talking about? Or around here, where how Scarface put it, but now it's a fashion show. You want to go out there to try to show out for a bunch of other wicked niggas. I've seen a lot of people upset telling me this pastor told people don't go to Beyonce concert, but I seen these Christians be saying this, that. See, that's why nobody, because Christians don't take other Christians seriously. And you around here mad with them. Because they know you niggas living any kind of way. They don't care about what you talking about. You niggas crazy, man. You niggas crazy. Stop being mad at the preacher, man. Be mad at yourself because you believed it. Ain't nobody told you not to. Ain't nobody tell you to believe that. Did your pastor force you to believe a lie? You believe that lie because that's what you wanted to believe. They told us the law was done away with. Well, you didn't want to do it anyway, so he just pushed you in the direction you wanted to go. You know what the funny part is? They're telling us they taught us the laws was done away with. But guess what? You knew you was hunching on all the women. You knew you was wrong. You ain't stopped yourself. You around here snorting that cocaine. You know you ain't supposed to be messing with that nose candy. Because a lot of people, that's what they be doing now. You're getting drunk every night. You're telling lies. You mean to tell me, but the pastor told us the law. You knew you was wrong for telling that lie. That's the pastor's fault that you were lying bastard? That's the pastor's fault you were whoremonger. Because if he would have taught against it, guess what I ain't going around there. Ain't no mercy of God in there. Where the grace at? See, you a hypocritical, wicked bastard. Cut the crap. And the only thing you want to talk about what the pastor ain't teach you about was Sabbaths and pork chops. That's all they want to talk about. Sabbath and pork chop. Not the fact that you're a liar, not the fact that you're lascivious, not the fact that you're blasphemous, not the fact you got an evil eye, not the fact that you're an adulterer, not the fact that you're a fornicator, not the fact that you're a thief. You don't want to talk about none of that he ain't teaching. He lied to us about pork chops and Sabbath days. He got us in here teaching Christmas. But they have to get him Mark 7:20, man. Hold on. Mother Sharona said, my dad was a pastor. I was raised in church. My dad was the one that stopped the Easter egg hunt because it was idolatry. He was faithful and sincere, meek and humble. Praise you, Lord. See, that's what, I got enough sense to know that, right? I ain't finna go off on no path. They keep church on Sunday. Okay, they may not have that correct, but look at the other stuff these people talking about, man. But that's the only part you want to focus on. And while you know the Sabbath on this day, but look how evil you is, period. You're not in the space to talk, good sir. Shut your mouth. Come on, get a Mark 7:20, man. Let it go.
And he said, that which come out of the man that defiled the man.
What come out of?
For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts.
Evil what?
Evil thoughts.
So we know thoughts is what? That's plots, plans, and inventions. So you got all these evil plots and plans, but you talking about how he tell us about pork chops and Sabbath. What else in your heart, man?
Adulteries.
So you're around here lusting and sleeping with other men's wives.
Fornication.
Now you're around here sleeping with whoever. And when we say fornication, not just unmarried sex, you doing like what Herod did. You're sleeping with your brother's wife. You slept with two sisters. You're running trains. You're committing all type of filthiness. Go ahead.
Murders.
You're around here killing. Guess what? You hate your brother in your heart. Therefore, you are a murderer.
Thefts.
You're stealing.
Covetousness.
You're lusting after something that don't belong to you.
Wickedness.
You're always doing something that's disagreeable.
Deceit.
You're telling lies.
Lasciviousness.
You always lusting.
An evil eye.
Now you're looking at men with an evil eye. You like Saul. You want to kill a man. He ain't done nothing to you.
Blasphemy.
And you always blaspheme the mighty name by which you call. You wicked bastard.
Pride.
And you're proud.
And foolishness.
And you're stupid.
All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
But all you want to talk about is he lied to you about pork chops and Sabbath. But you don't want to address none of that. Now I can see if he told you all that stuff, that wasn't wrong. Then you'd have a beef. But you don't never talk about that. And you wonder why people don't take you seriously. You dog-head bastard. I don't like it, bro. And I know somebody be like, he taking up for the church. No, man, I'm talking about how stupid you is. That you trying to shift the blame for the lack of accountability for the wickedness in your own life. Because you don't want to talk about that. Just like Mother Sharona just said, you'll zero in on this here, but then you won't talk about men who were humble, faith. They were sincere in what they were doing. I ain't got that type of time, you know what I'm saying, to be like this here, because I don't know every Christian pastor in the world. So therefore, I can't lump all of them in the same boat. Because guess what? We want to lump everybody to be like Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, and Joel Osteen. You do know there's a minority of preachers, right? Most of the preachers, like say, at least in this city, and all these little churches in these neighborhoods, these men ain't nothing like these men in these big old churches, man. These people just doing what they believe is correct. That's it. They not getting no real money from doing what they doing. They dedicating their life to this. So then what you should be doing is that if these men don't have proper doctrine, that you would pray Yahuwah would lead them in the path so they can correct the doctrine so that they can save their souls and the souls of others. Because men who have a sincere desire to serve God are going to serve God according to what's written. They're not going to let pride get in the way and stop them from doing the will of God. They're not going to do that. Because that's where their heart is at. But you too stupid to recognize that. Because you think you, for some reason, because you done learned something that you believe other people don't know, that make you superior when you in the same boat as them because your heart is filthy. Where we at? Matthew 8:18. Yep. Now,
Romans 5, right?
Oh, no, finish that Romans 5. Start that verse you was in, whatever verse you thought about, and run it out again. See, you're supposed to have a heart's desire that all this man people be saved. You know what I'm saying? Verse 2. Romans 5:2. Listen to it.
By whom also we have access by faith into this mercy wherein we stand and rejoice in the esteem of Elohim.
That's right.
And not only, but we esteem in tribulations also.
We esteem in what?
Tribulations also.
Because tribulations do what?
Work patience.
And patience.
Experience.
And experience.
Hope.
And hope make not
ashamed.
That's right.
Because the love of Elohim is shed abroad in our hearts by the Ruach HaKadosh, which is given unto us.
Let Abba be esteemed. You understand? It's that simple. Man, we make this thing more difficult than what it need to be because niggas is goofies. Everybody out for fame and a name. Everybody want to do this, that, there, and the third. Man, if you ain't been sealed by the Ruach HaKadosh, well, you need to keep your mouth closed because you got work to do. You ain't got no room to be pointing and talking about nothing. Your soul ain't saved. You ain't got, if you ain't been sealed with the Ruach HaKadosh, you ain't got no business pointing out nothing what no preacher somewhere ain't doing because your soul ain't saved. You need to focus on saving your soul because if you die tonight, you going to hell. So what you got to talk about? Because if your soul ain't saved and you die, and that man and Yahuwah correct that man and he received the spirit, you're gonna be standing in the line of judgment looking like a pure jackass. Because you ran your mouth against somebody whose soul was sealed from the day that the earth was made. You dummy. What's wrong with you? This has got to be the most prideful generation of people I've ever seen in my life, man, when it comes to handling the word. And of course, I ain't been that long, so that's why I said in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because in my early stages of life, I ran across people who was in the word, and these people didn't behave like this. You might have caught them like, you might have felt like these people always come around here talking about listen. But these niggas are proud. Bro. Don't you know Proverbs say there's a generation that's proud, but they ain't been cleansed of their sin? Get it for them, Sid. It's Proverbs 30. I want to say verse 8, but let me just slide over here so we can get straight to the point. Because we ain't gonna never get to Psalm 77 for said at this rate. Let me make sure. That's all good. Give me 30 and 11. Proverbs 30 and 11.
A generation curse their father and do not bless their mother.
That's right.
A generation pure in their own eyes.
A generation that's what?
Pure in their own eyes.
That's what?
Pure in their own eyes.
But what they not done?
Not washed from their filthiness.
They're not what?
Washed from their filthiness.
So you clean in your own sight, but you still in your sin. Shut your mouth. How you think you pure in your own eyes and you ain't been washed by the regeneration of the Ruach HaKadosh? You ain't got the spirit, boy, you still dirty. That means you no different than the man with leprosy who ain't been washed. Let Yahuwah be his thing. Come on, son.
A generation know how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up.
Their eyelids are what?
Lifted up. A generation whose teeth swords and their jaws knives.
Their teeth are all you want to do is cut with your words.
To devour the poor from off the earth.
You want to devour the humble and afflicted off the earth.
And the needy from men.
And that is a representation of what the scribes and Pharisees did to Yahusha right there, is it not? Look at that. Boy, the good news always pop itself up when you ain't looking for it, it's there. When you're looking for it, it's there. Let Yahuwah be his thing. Come on, is it anything else with that?
Not as far as the generation.
That's good. That's good. Come on back to Matthew 8. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got that. See, right now, we extreme championship wrestling. You understand? You know about ECW? You don't know nothing about no ECW. You know what I'm saying? That's extreme right there, man. Tag team champions. That's what we around here doing. The Lord tag us in, and we like New Jack. Y'all have mercy on his soul. We cut niggas with pizza cutters. Y'all don't know nothing about New Jack. Yeah, that brother dead. ECW was a different type of wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Very, very violent. Extremely violent. You know what I'm talking about? Like extremely, not WWE over the top superhero cartoon type rock. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. You know, AEW and WCW, they do the more classical professional wrestling. ECW, you know what I'm saying? Let me find the most violent thing I can do to a man and let me do that. And them white folks in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania loved every minute of it. That joke is hilarious. Barbarians, if you would. You know what I'm saying? Matthew 8 and 18. Now, when Yahusha saw great multitudes about him, he gave a commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said to him, Master, I will follow you wherever you go. Yahusha said to him, the foxes have holes and the birds of the air nests, but the son of Adam have not where to lay head. And another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go bury my Abba. Yahusha said unto him, follow me, but let the dead bury the dead. And when he entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves. But he was asleep. Who else was on a ship asleep? Oh man, Barry said them thumbtacks on the table, straight up and down. I just was looking at that too, right? They have some gimmick thumbtacks, but then sometimes, them real thumbtacks. A lot of stuff you see on wrestling, some of that stuff be gimmick and some of it don't. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the promotion. That's right. Boop just mentioned Jonah was on the ship sleep. Because remember, the ship was the waters was raging during the book of Jonah. Jonah had to steal that water. And his disciples came and awoke him saying, Lord, save us, we perish. The same way they woke up Jonah and said, man, we gonna die, man, you better call on your God. And he said unto him, why are you fearful, O you of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the sea, and there was a great calm. And the men marveled, saying, what manner of man is this, that even the winds and sea obey him? See, that was that Psalms 89. Get Genesis 1:1 that Stanley mentioned with the walking on water, because we done used that in the past. It's been a long. We ain't talked about the walking on water in so long. I give thanks to Yahuwah. Y'all don't realize, by the grace of Elohim, we've been doing this for a long time, and we done talked about so much stuff. Man, let me tell you something, man. By the grace of God, man, you could get Psalm 65 right behind the two. Psalm 65 and 4. We done forgot most stuff that most of these brothers done taught. And that ain't no esteeming on our part. That's all esteem to Elohim in that regard. That's by his goodness and grace, not by any righteousness of our own. Genesis 1:1.
In the beginning, Elohim created Shamahim and the Arats, and the Arats was without form and void, and darkness upon the face of the deep. And the rock of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. And Elohim said, let there be light, and there was light.
And there was what?
And there was light.
That's right.
And Elohim saw the light that was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night.
Go ahead.
And the evening and the morning were the first day.
Come on.
And Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which are under the firmament from the waters which are above the firmament. And it was so. And Elohim called the firmament Shamahim, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
Go ahead.
And Elohim said, let the waters under Shamahim be gathered together into one place.
That's right.
And let the dry appear, and it was so. And Elohim called the dry Arats, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And Elohim saw that good.
That's right there. You don't even realize if the Ruach of Elohim move, he walking on the waters, ain't it? Same difference. Come on, get me Psalm 65 and 4.
Baruch, you choose and cause to approach, that he may dwell in your courts. We shall be satisfied with the goodness of your house.
That's right.
Of the Kadash temple.
That's right.
Terrible things and righteousness will you answer us, O Elohim of our salvation.
When they say terrible, that means awesome things.
The confidence of all the ends of the earth, and of them that are far off the sea, which by his strength set fast the mountains, girded with power, which still the noise of the seas.
Would do what to the sea?
Still the noise of the seas, the noise of their waves, and the tumult of the people.
And the who?
Tumult of the people.
And the pain of the people. Look at that. See, it's all written. And all that is a manifestation of his grace and mercy. Let's hit this last thing with this verse 28, with him casting out the devils. And when he was coming to the other side into the country of Gergesenes, there met him two possessed with devils coming out of the tombs, exceeding fierce, so that no man passed by that way. And behold, they cried out, saying, what have we to do with you, Yahusha, you son of Elohim? Are you come hither to torment us before the time? Remember, because all things, he was slain from the foundation of the, remember, he said from the foundation of the world, the works were finished. These unclean spirits already know how this is going now. Because he said, are you coming to do what? Before the wind? Before the time. So that means they know the time already been set. And we be walking around here thinking that, oh, we don't know what's going to happen. Man, this junk already done, boy. This junk already done, boy. And there was a good way off from them a herd of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, if you cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. And he said unto them, go. Notice that they sitting here having a negotiation with him about, well, Lord, if you're going to cast us off, send us into the swine. Because they know they ain't got no choice in the matter. And they went into the herd of swine, and behold, the herd of swine ran violently down into a steep place into the sea and perished in the water. Ain't you see how you showing you that he going to kill these people in the end? And it also shows you how unclean spirits do not make you do sin. They cause you to do harm to yourself. I hate when people say he got a demon on him. No, he is the demon. Ain't no demon got you doing nothing. Ain't no demon got in you and made you no killer. Well, what about when it said Satan got into Judas? It made him an adversary. That's all it did. That's all Satan is an adversary. Satan can't make Judas do nothing. It was already in Judas' heart to do it. Every man is enticed and drawn away by his own lust. Start taking accountability that you're a horrible person and do something about it. See, a lot of people are horrible people. See, we're just having a conversation with somebody earlier. Let me ask y'all a question, right? Do I sound like y'all know me for quite a while, right? Have you ever heard me say, when somebody say something, preach? Have you ever heard me speak this way? Because the nigga said that's what I said or something, right? On a recording. But they couldn't make it. They say, I'm like, bro, I don't even talk like that, bro. I got people who know me for damn near a decade. They've never heard me speak. That doesn't sound so gay. For me to say, not for other people. Not gay as in homosexual, but gay as in lame. Preach. Don't even talk like that. Now, it was just funny because y'all know me, right? If I say something about you, I done already said it to you. Or I ain't seen you yet, and when I see you, I'm going to tell it to you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to say nothing to you about you, and I ain't going to say it to your face. Once I done said it to your face, I can talk about it all I want to because I done said it. And I ain't going to feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying? If I say you was old, goofy, retarded, ugly bastard, then guess what? If I done looked you in your... See, if I ain't said it to you and then I say it somewhere else, then I'm a goofy for that. But if I done said that to you, I don't give a damn how you feel. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say it whenever, however, to whomever because I done already said it to you. Because I'm going to look you in the face, you're going to smell my cologne because I'm going to say what I got to say to you. If it's something that need to be said. If it ain't nothing need to be said, I ain't going to say nothing. For what? Niggas crazy as hell out here, man. Niggas don't even know how, you know what people really used to say? So many people used to people not saying something to them that they be shocked when somebody will say something to you. Nobody even talk to me like this here, but that's the problem. Ain't nobody never told you nothing about yourself. Look here, man. My daddy done told me about myself. My granddaddy done told me about myself. My mama done did it. My auntie done did it. My friends done did it. It's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But if you ain't go, see, the problem come in if you got something to say and you don't say it to that man. But if I done said it to you, I can talk on it. You can't talk on it if you ain't said it. That's just how I was raised. Maybe I was raised wrong. You know, that's how a lot of people believe. I myself, if I say, you know what, Doris, you fart when you come in the room. I can't go around telling people Doris be fart when she come in the room. Did you tell Doris? No. Then what you telling me for? You know what I'm saying? Oh, that nigga, that musket. You told him he was musket? No. Then what you telling me for? That's not a problem. I'm not musty. You need to tell him. He has a problem. You need to help him fix that. Hey, you don't want to put that in there. It's done. It's done. You know people do that. How do you tell somebody they breath stink? Nigga, your breath stink. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's no other way to tell them that. You think it's a nice way to say, at the particular time when you speak to me, the vapor that emanates out of your mouth singes my nose to a point that I am disgusted. And I would like to offer you some type of oral hygiene products to help render your breath a little bit more palatable. Nah, nigga, your breath stink, bro. Do something about that.
Slide you the subtle piece of gum.
I ain't sliding you nothing. You know what I'm talking about? See, then you got to do all that. See, that's subliminal. That passive aggressive. Take the gum. Hey, bro, your breath stink, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You got offers on.
Yeah, it might be a deeper issue. We like to see people walk around, that nigga so musty. You ain't told him? I ain't gonna be sitting around a nigga he walk while you sitting there. Damn, boy, that nigga that stink, boy. Golly. Boy, we used to do David like that all the time. Like, boy, you stink. But but it was more his clothes than his body. But he had also been, because he had nowhere to stay. But it was some point like, come on, bro, you got to do better. You know what I'm saying? He said, Boop said, that's exactly right. Hey, man, your breath stink, man, you musty. Your feet stink. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I'd rather you tell me than for me to walk around here offending people. You know what I'm saying? That's the same way you should feel about sin and other stuff people doing. That's not proper conduct and character. I would rather you just go ahead and tell the blunt, or just go ahead and tell them, than to then walk around here offending people. But then it get to a point that if I done told you, I ain't finna keep telling. Just go ahead and be the stank breath nigga that you are. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't got time for this. Because that's how people want you to treat them. Another thing, too. Always be on the lookout for two types of people. The people that you can't tell nothing to, and the people that like to play the victim. Because people who like to play the victim are kind of synonymous with people you can't tell nothing to. You can't do nothing with them type of people. Can't do nothing with them type of people. You know what I'm saying? Because we know now with women, y'all like to do one or two things. As Dr. BOA like to put it, he put it eloquently, so we got to give him credit because he said it. He said they either got to be the victim or the victor. If you don't come out victorious, you got to somehow find a way to be that you was the victim in the situation. You know what I'm saying? And when you find a man that behaves like that, that's doubly bad. But I learned that as a young age. Like a dude you can't tell nothing to. You can't talk to him. Yeah, you can't do nothing with him, man. Can't do nothing with him. Just go ahead and slide. You know what I'm talking about? Just go ahead and slide. You're going to fight a losing battle. You're going to stress yourself out. So don't even do it. Just go ahead and do it. Now, there's people, like he said, where in regards to like when you talking about people that lifted up in pride. Basically, like, I ain't never wrong. I don't do nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Everything I do is correct. Everything. Or niggas who, hey, man, you tell them like, hey, bro, you better turn this left, man. If you go right, boy, you going to, it's nails in the street. Boy, you going to flat your tires. They don't care about that junk. I'm still going right. Then he flattened his tires. He get mad at you. But you just told him it was a hazard over here. No, you can't do with nothing with a nigga like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's somebody, what we just read in Proverbs, that's somebody who they not, in their own eyes, they can never be wrong. That's what he meant when he said their eyelids is lifted up. They lifted up in their pride, so they'll never be wrong. So you can't do nothing with him. You know what I'm saying? That's almost like dealing with a child. So that's a losing battle. Don't even try. You know what I'm talking about? And then if he liked to play the victim, see, we know women like to play the victim, so you just kind of like, you just, hey, it's what they do. You know what I'm saying? You kind of let her know, like, I'm not buying this. And then you just move on. You know what I'm saying? Because this is ladies, this is what they do. But when you see a dude do it, you be like, yeah, you your mama's son. And you can't do nothing with that. Everybody's against me. Unless you play, and unless you're using that as like motivation to like overcome an obstacle and win. You feel like what? So you capped out. So you capped out. See, when you say I do be the victim, that's how we know you playing victim. Because ain't nobody in the world, everybody just doing you wrong. Every situation, I'm the victim. So that means you pray. That means you weak then. If you always the victim, that means you weak. Well, you ain't no victim. You just trying to get some sympathy for some bad decisions, your bad moves you done made. So you got to make it seem like everybody dookie stained on you. Ain't nobody did nothing. See, your son just said, yeah, you captain. He just called you out. What we at, verse 33. And they that kept him fled and went their ways into the city and told everything that was befallen to the possessed of the devils. And behold, the whole city came to meet Yahusha. And when they saw him, they besought that he would depart out of their coast. Boy, he sent them doggone swine, and they said, boy, you got to go, boy. Come on to Psalm 77 for said, man. Pick me up at verse 1, Stephen, and we'll line this up with the gospel of our choice.
I cried unto Elohim with my voice, unto Elohim with my voice, and he gave ear unto me.
My Elohim, why have you forsaken me? Go ahead.
In the day of my trouble, I sought the Lord.
Look here, right? I'm exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Come over here and pray with me. And John 17 is the manifestation of that. In the day of his trouble, he sought the Lord. My sore
ran in the night
and ceased
not,
and my soul
refused to be comforted.
Was his soul seek to be comforted? That's why he sent the Malachim to strengthen it. Come on. I remember.
Elohim, it was trouble.
And I complained.
And my ruach was overwhelmed.
If it be possible, please let this cup pass from me. Continue.
You hold my eyes wakened.
I'm so troubled
that I cannot speak.
I've considered
the days of old,
the years
of ancient times.
I call
to remembrance my song.
I commune
with my own heart,
and my ruach
made diligent.
That's
search.
exactly what that man did when he went and prayed, man. And now, what is this showing you, right? What we read in Romans 5, that you have access into this mercy by faith, and that we know that tribulations work experience, and experience hope, and hope make not ashamed. Because he's talking about tribulation, and in that tribulation, he is able to yada experience Yahuwah. And because he yada experienced Yahuwah, he is able to patak or have hope in Elohim. And because he have hope in Elohim, anybody who believes and trusts in the living God will never be put to shame. If anybody tell you different, depart from them and have no dealings with them. Because that man is not of God. That persuasion don't come from him that called you. I'm here to you right now. I don't give a damn what any ugly, funky, doodle stain, draw nigga got to say. If anybody tell you to not put your trust in God and that having your trust in God will have you looking stupid, he of the devil. Point blank. And if any nigga got a problem with it, you can come holler at me. I'll tell the same to your face. You a wicked, evil bastard, and the love of God and the truth ain't in you. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't with all that junk. We ain't got, see, this is the problem. And I'll tell y'all this later. I actually say, I ain't finna beat around the bush and play with you, my nigga. That's what's wrong with niggas, all that beating around the bush, playing games, nigga. That's what women do. How you say it say the righteous bold as a what? That mean they got confidence in God. That's what that bold mean. Where your confidence in God at? You ain't got no confidence in God. That's why you ain't bold as a lion, little ugly boy. Come on. We in verse 5.
I considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. I call to remembrance my song in the night.
I commune
with my own heart.
My ruach
made diligent search.
Will the Lord
cast off forever?
Will he be favorable?
No more.
Is his mercy
being gone forever?
Do his promise
fail forevermore?
Listen what he's saying, right? Do his promise fail? Because when he was up there on that tree, it seemed like his promise didn't come to pass. But praise be to God. 3 days later, what happened? That's right. Come on.
Has he forgotten to be gracious?
Has he forgotten to be what?
Gracious.
Tell him what gracious is in Hebrew. Have his anger shut up his tender mercies, and then share with him tender mercies by definition. Pray be to you who will give. It's to entreat, to pity, to be gracious. So is he going to take away pity? Don't that another psalm say his pity is to them that fear him? What is tender mercies? Calm, womb, compassion. Remember, what did Yahuwah lead off what his name is? Merciful and gracious. This man say he full of loving kindness, pity, and compassion. All you seen Yahusha do was come through with what? Loving kindness, pity, and compassion. Do you understand when them unclean spirits, he was having pity and compassion on them men by casting them spirits out of them? That's the part when I be tripping when people say it's two different gods in the Old and New Testament. It's the same dude, yo. Yahuwah and Yahusha one and the same. It's the same person. He didn't change. He wasn't a wrathful, vengeful God. That's how I know you don't know God. See, again, what does it tell us? The faith was shut up, right? Until it was time to be revealed. So that means grace and truth was stopped, even though it was being ministered the whole time. But all you had was law, and the law didn't have no mercy in it. Because who's the only person who can give mercy? God himself, not man. God himself. That's the only person who can give you that. Praise be to God, man. You know what I'm saying? People be on another type of time, man. See, I know some people like, you Bruce don't talk about this. I don't know what other people talk about, but I know what we talk about, and we give praise to Abba in the name of Yahusha for it. I can't speak on what other people talk about. That ain't none of my business. See, that's what a lot of people who dealing with their word, that's their problem. You worry about what other people doing. I can't worry about what other people doing. I don't know what other people talking about. I told a group of people this the other day, man. God got preachers everywhere. I put it to you this way, right? And I can only use myself as an example. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak on other people. Like, bro, we ain't got no map. Bro, we've been on YouTube for damn near a decade. We ain't even got 1,000. We can't even go live. Not on the phone. We can go live on the laptop. We can't go live. We ain't got no 1,000 subscribers. But guess what? If we wasn't on YouTube, we would still be doing what we're doing right now. Then we ain't on Clubhouse to gain no following. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like this here. You know how I know Barry? Because Barry knew somebody who I know in person. You know what I'm saying? Then he came and linked up. And you know when he did this? This was like 2012, 2013. I don't know this man about 10 years. We don't go around and be like, look at us, look at us, look at us. We just doing what Yahuwah allow us to do. And guess what? He got in everywhere doing the same. Just because people don't have this high level of profile don't mean that they not out here doing what Yahuwah got them to do. See, you judging stuff by how many YouTube subscriber people got, how well known they is. That don't mean that Yahuwah done sent them. Yahuwah got his preachers everywhere doing what it is that he need them to do. Stop judging stuff by social media following. That's stupid. That don't make no sense. You know why that don't make no sense? Because Yahuwah preachers don't care if they on the internet or not. The work still gonna get done. Some people are like, what you gonna do when the internet go out? Still preach the word, nigga. What do you mean? I put it to you this way, right? Because you don't need the internet for Clubhouse. Let's say the internet go out, ain't no internet. All us got phones. All the people who we know could call each other, call our phones, and we could have them all on the phone if they ain't in the city. So we don't give a damn about that. But you know why I say that there? Because, and that's not to disparage anybody on here who don't got my number. Because if you want my number, you can ask for it and I give it to you. You know what I'm saying? And I'll link you with everybody else that's in this city, that's a part of this body. That's nothing. Because see, what we would prefer to do is don't be isolated in your part of the world and be like, man, I ain't gonna holler at them boys when they come on the screen. Oh, no. You ain't got to do that. You can call me, man. You can talk to me. And you can talk to any of these brothers and any of you sisters. You want to talk to any of these sisters. You can do all that. You ain't got to isolate yourself and say, I only want to deal with them on you. No, we don't do that type of party, man. You can talk to us in real life. You come see us, man. That's nothing. That's nothing, because that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to link with each other in real life. Because guess what? If we in Texas and we know Brother Reynolds in Texas, that means that when we get in it, we pull up in Texas and we know we near his city or in his city, we can call him and let him know, hey, bro, we in town, bro. You know what I'm saying? Wait, and all he got to be, is there anything y'all boy need? Hey, boy, don't go over here. Don't go over there. That's what some of them dudes be meaning when people be talking about check in, because they can let you know, hey, man, don't go over there, boy. Them boys got this here going on. Because this not your city. You don't know that. But when you got people in the city who you rock with, they can let you know what's going on when you touch down. Oh, they be like, oh, well, shoot, boy, I had to slide to such and such, man. But there's some brothers over here on such and such, man. I'm going to give you their number. I'm going to call them so y'all can link up. That's how it's supposed to be, man. We ain't supposed to be on this stuff these niggas be on, man. That's not how they're supposed to go. You understand what I'm telling you? We know, man, if we go through to Chicago, well, we know Misha there. We know Drew there. I know other brothers from up there also that they don't even know. That if we can reach out and be like, yo, man, I'm in the city, bro. What y'all got going on? You know what I'm talking about? But that's how that's supposed to be, man. All that internet stuff, that's that new stuff, man. The way you feel like you a part of something, but you ain't a part of something because you don't want to really be a part of nothing because you don't want to be accountable to other people. We ought to just had that. Well, we went to Detroit, but we got a whole gang of people in Detroit, man. What are you talking about? We got Trav, we got Quad, we got East, we got Day to Ghost, but we got peoples around there, man. That's nothing. And them boys know, they slide down here, boy, they already know what it is. They already know what it is, man. That's how it's supposed to be. And guess what? I met East and Jay the Ghost through this very screen right here. You know what they did? Hey, bro, I want to holler at you, bro. Yeah, holler at me, bro. That's nothing. Because it's not some junk. I'm the teacher. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me. Man, we're not on that type of time, man. We don't operate like that around here, boy. We all brothers around here, man. It ain't that's not that type of party around here, man. We don't operate like that. I can't speak on how other people do. I ain't down talking on what other people do because I don't know. But we don't do that over here, man. That's not what we do over here. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, well, we down. If you down, then we down. And if you down, then we gonna ride with you. You show yourself to be a goofy, and we ain't fooling with you. It's still gonna be love, but we ain't fooling with you. Cause we know you on a different type of time. We not stamping that. You know what I'm saying? We're not stamping that. You want to be on some other type of time, that's your business. See, we don't have to put people out. People put themselves out. Because they already know you're not going to be able to come around here and behave like this and don't nobody say nothing to you. Because somebody going to be like, bro, what you got going on? Oh, man, y'all tripping. Man, ain't nobody tripping, bro. You tripping. Come on, man. Oh, just so you know, too, these socks are local. I didn't go buy them in the store, though. But their online store is in Jacksonville. I bought them off eBay, but they do have a website. They're cheaper on eBay than it is on the website. Isn't that weird? I got grandma socks. They just make HBCU socks, period. They call it the Greek shop.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Something like that.
Yes,
Verse 10.
Come on, Psalm 77:10.
And I said, this my infirmity.
This is my what?
Infirmity.
The years
of the right hand of the Most High.
No, to give him infirmity. Notice he said, this is my infirmity. The years of, he already knew this is what he had to suffer from the foundation of the world.
Allah, to be or become weak. To be or become sick.
This is my weakness. This is my sickness.
To be or become diseased, aggrieved.
Diseased, aggrieved.
To become sorry.
To become sorry. Verse 11. Psalm 77.
I'll remember the works of Yahuwah. Surely I'll remember your wonders of old. I'll meditate also of all your work.
And talk of all your
doings.
Your brother's sister's Greek story. Go ahead.
Your way, O Elohim, in the sanctuary.
His way is where?
In the sanctuary.
In the house.
Who great is Elohim? As Elohim.
Verse 14.
You the Elohim that do wonders.
That do what?
That do wonders.
That's right.
That have declared your strength among the people. You have with your arm
redeemed
your people.
The sons.
Jacob and Joseph.
Notice who's the one he say Yahuwah has visited and redeemed his people. That's the manifestation of God in the flesh. Emmanuel, Elohim is with us. He do wonders. He did. Don't you realize every wonder he did with healing people, that was declaring the strength of God in front of them people? That's all great. Everything Psalm 77 is talking about is the grace and mercy of God. All of it. Continue.
The waters saw you.
What they did.
The waters saw you.
And they were what?
Afraid.
The depths.
Also were troubled.
The clouds.
Poured out water.
The skies.
Sent out a sound.
Your arrows.
Also went abroad.
The voice.
Of your thunder.
In heaven.
The lightning the world.
And the earth.
Trembled and shook.
See, we can back all that up, right? The voice of the thunder, because it said it sounded like thunder when he said, Abba, esteem your name. He said, I've esteemed it and will esteem it. The earth trembled and shook the same way when he died, it was an earthquake. Continue.
Your way in the sea.
Your path.
In the great waters.
And your footsteps.
Are not known.
Notice he said his way is where?
In the sea.
And his path is where?
In the great waters.
What did Yahusha do when he was in that walk? Walked on it. And you led
your people like a flock
by the hand
of Moses and Aaron.
Look at who would be his thing. Let's get some of this Matthew 5. We had 2:13. Y'all ready? Because Nisha said this is my favorite. We ain't gonna get all of it because it's 48 verses longer. We 2 hours and 13 minutes in. Matthew 5:1.
And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him.
And he opened
his mouth and taught them,
saying,
Baruch the Purim Ruach, for theirs is the kingdom of Shalom.
Pause. Now we already talked about that because that's what Psalm Isaiah 61 led with, right? That's what it led with, right? Give my Isaiah 66 and 1, then Isaiah 66 and Isaiah 61 and 1, and then Isaiah 66 and 1. Amen, brother.
Ruach of Yahuwah Elohim upon me, because
Mhm.
Yahuwah have anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek.
Unto the who?
To the meek.
What else?
He have sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to
Mm.
proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison.
Don't that sound like blessed are the poor in spirit? Because there's the because that's what we say he was sent to teach it to. So those who are, because remember, poor would be, these are those who are humbled in spirit. How did he describe Moses? How did Yahuwah describe Moses in Numbers chapter 12? You good, comfortable. Everybody's socks ain't comfortable. I got a lot of
meat.
Meat. Humble. Continue, good sir. Verse 4. Blessed.
Oh, okay. Back in that.
Oh, my bad. You ain't get
I was
Isaiah
still reading
66
that.
and 1. My fault. That's my fault. Isaiah 66 and 1.
Thus saith Yahuwah, Shamahim my throne, and the rats my footstool.
What up?
Where's your house that you built unto me?
Mhm.
Where's the place of my rest?
Where's the place of my what?
Of my rest.
Come on.
For all those have my hand made,
Mhm.
and all those have been, saith Yahuwah. But to this will I look, to the poor and of a contrite ruach.
Who he gonna look to?
Man
Him
poor,
of a humble spirit. Give him contrite by definition.
no, okay, stricken, smitten, dejected, contrite, lame.
Somebody who's been broken. That's why you're humble. That's why he say tribulations work experience and experience hope, and hope make not ashamed. That's why I say that. Come on back to Matthew 5 or something.
Baruch they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
They shall be what?
Comforted. Baruch the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Paul, the meek shall inherit the earth is in Psalm 37. Word for word. You know what I'm talking about? Get Psalm 37, 11 for it. That's in there word for word, literally. When you look at blessed are those that are mourn, you know that the people mourn during the time of Nehemiah, during tabernacles, and he told them, don't mourn. This is a joyous time. You also know that Noah name means to comfort the earth, which Elohim has cursed. You also know why Yahusha referred to the Ruach HaKodesh as the comforter. Or we would know, according to having an understanding of the gospel, that I'll send Noah. Because if he's sending Noah, and Noah is the means to, according to Genesis 5, that he'll comfort the ground which he have cursed, that means that he knows he's going to give consolation to those who are damned because of the flesh. And what are you damned to? You damned to die. We're not talking about damned to eternal damnation. We're talking about you're cursed to death. The Ruach HaKodesh gives you comfort from death. That's why I say blessed are those that are mourned. Because if you're sorrowful for your sin, because what did he say? What did Paul write? He said, if I made you sorry, he said, I repent not. We'll get it in a second. But I wouldn't need to. I ain't repenting if I made you sorry and you wrong. See, that's what, you know what people say? Sometimes if somebody say they feelings hurt, you should just apologize. The hell I will. You know what I'm talking about? Not me. Absolutely not. I don't give a damn if you got upset, if it's going to change your behavior. Care nothing about that. Come on, man.
Psalm 37:11.
Psalm 37:11. Listen to it.
But the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace.
That's right.
The wicked plot against the just and gnash upon them with
Oh, that's
teeth.
good. But they say the meek shall inherit the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now get me second Corinthians chapter 7, verse 9. Shoot, best in Texas. I ain't lying, man. I ain't apologize for nothing.
Chapter 7.
7, 9, man. Tell me what that's like.
Now I rejoice not that you were made sorry.
I don't rejoice that you was made sorry.
But that you sorrowed to repentance.
That you sorrowed to what?
To repentance.
To what?
To repentance.
Go ahead.
For you were made sorry after a godly manner.
You were made sorry after a godly manner.
That you might receive damage by us and nothing.
By nothing. Come on.
For godly sorrow work repentance to salvation.
Godly sorrow work what?
Repentance to salvation.
And the sorrow of the world, what that work?
Death.
Death. See, that's the people's problem is. I don't care nothing about because you upset, because I'm trying to move you. Shut your mouth. Stop being a pussy. That's what's wrong with a lot of these dudes out here, man. You got a woman's lady parts in between your legs. You're supposed to be a man. This is some of the softest, weakest, I'm talking about wet and soft, dick in the booty type niggas I ever seen in my life. Niggas always crying and complaining like little churn. Who raised you? Because I don't think they could have dealt with some of the men that I've been around in my lifetime. Them boys ain't care nothing about your feelings. You need to tighten up. You know what I'm saying? You need to tighten up. You're not doing your best. You're not operating how you're supposed to operate. You should be telling yourself that when you see yourself not performing. If you any type of man and you know, like, boy, I need to do better. There's a lot of these dudes, man, I don't care how much information you know, boy. I wouldn't follow you into a car wash if I was on fire. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going in there, man. I'm not following this dude. See, that's a problem with a lot of dudes, man. They think because you know something that people should follow you, but you are goofy. You lack honor, you lack respect, you lack discipline. You know what I'm talking about? And you're of low character. And again, the number one thing, you're dishonorable. You're feminine. I'm not following no feminine man, boy. If I'm gonna follow a feminine man, I might as well follow a woman. Because at least I can get some coochie out the deal. Following the feminine man, I ain't getting nothing. I mean that too, boy. I'd rather perish alone as an idiot than to follow a feminine man. You know how real that is? Because women don't want to follow a feminine man. Women don't want to do it. So what the hell make you think I want to do it? How many women you know want to follow a feminine man? They get disgusted real quick. Then you know what the feminine man do? Blame the woman. She masculine. Man, if that woman masculine, either you feminine or you stupid. Because I ain't finna fight with no masculine woman. I'm finna deal. Because at this point, I have to question myself. Am I homosexual? Am I attracted to manly qualities? I'm saying that because if she's displaying masculine traits and you found that attractive, that means you're attracted to things that make a man a man. Are you a homosexual at this point? Are you confused? What's going on inside your mind? Because there's nothing about the attributes of a man that I find remotely attractive. Nothing. There's nothing about a man that I say, you know what? I sure would like to live with that every day. Absolutely not. I don't deem that as something that, you know what? That gets my loins going. What did they say coming to? I want a woman who stimulates my mind and my loins. You know what I'm saying? So you want another man is what you're telling me. I don't want another man. I lived for 5 years with 72 other men, and I can tell you that that was not a delightful experience in the least. And I didn't look at any of them men and say, I sure would like to spend my days with him. No, that never happened. That never happened. It's not going to happen. I don't like men. That doesn't move me. So you have to ask yourself that question. If you always complaining about a woman being masculine, you need to look yourself in the mirror. Are you feminine? And if you're not feminine, then you would need to ask yourself, why are you suffering a disciplinary problem? Because it doesn't make sense. But you know what that would take? That would take you assessing your life in an honest fashion. Being 100 with yourself. Which a lot of people don't want to seem to do in these days and times. Where we at, Sid?
You doing with the 2 Corinthians?
Yeah, that'll do it. Near 5 and 6, Matthew. I give y'all about 10 to 12 more minutes, man, and we gone.
6. Blessed they which hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled.
Because he said, I'm Yahuwah your Elohim, open your mouth wide and I shall fill it. What did people say? We thirst, and he gave them water in the wilderness. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 10, man. Give me verse 1. Also, when he told you, he said, man don't live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Elohim do man live. Because if you hunger and thirst after the righteousness of faith, he will fill you with it. He is not unrighteous. He'll give you what you desire. 1 Corinthians 10 and 1.
Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea.
That's right.
And were all immersed unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. And did all eat the same spiritual meat. And did all drink the same spiritual drink.
They all drank the same what?
Spiritual drink.
And they all ate the same what?
Spiritual meat.
Which was what?
So they drank of the spiritual rock that followed them.
And that rock
was Mashiach.
They ate the same bread and drank the same blood that you did. You didn't realize that the manna and the water coming from the rock was representative of the same thing. It just was before the time. Ah, look at the Lord. Come on back here, Matthew 5 and 7.
Baruch the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
Paul, so we already know what that is because David showed mercy under Saul. That's why David was able to get mercy when he needed it. And of course, hold on. That's also in Psalms when they tell you that too. But give me 2 Samuel chapter 22, man. Give me verse 21.
Yahuwah rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands, had he recompensed me.
That's right.
For I have kept the ways of Yahuwah and have not wickedly departed from my Elohim.
That's right.
For all his judgments before me.
That's right.
And for his statutes I did not depart from them.
I didn't leave.
I was also upright before him and have kept myself from my iniquity.
That's right.
Therefore Yahuwah have recompensed me according to my righteousness.
Listen to him.
According to my cleanness in his eyesight.
Come on.
With the merciful, you will show yourself merciful.
With the merciful, he'll do what?
Show yourself merciful.
With the merciful, he'll do what?
Show yourself merciful.
That's why he can say, Baruch are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. It's all the same word. It's all the same word. And this is not just matching stuff up. This is so that you can know that. Get in Proverbs 11:17. Now you can get 1 Corinthians 11:28 behind this Proverbs 11:17 and 2 Corinthians 13:5. Brother Reynolds just put that in the chat. But I'll say that to you again. I know I said that kind of fast. Proverbs 11:17.
The merciful man do good to his own soul.
The merciful man do good to his what?
Own soul.
Do the good to his what?
Own soul.
Come on.
But cruel trouble his own flesh.
But he that cruel bring. Guess what? Saul was cruel and he troubled his what? Own flesh. See how that works? You know, I seen a brother posted. You know, it's a proverb that say, you know, that a man do good well to his own beast. And they was taking that to be like, that's why you should be vegan. And that verse don't even mean that. You know what that mean when he say a man is merciful or good to his own beast? Meaning that you don't treat your cattle wrong. That you got livestock. Ain't nobody got no livestock. None of these niggas going out the back door and it's horses and cows and sheep back there. I never understood that what dudes feel like that they're so more spiritual and righteous because now you can put that in here unless you go into the trash can. Oh, go in the baby room to the left of her changing table. We got the we got the thing. I don't know why people think that make them so much more righteous because they don't eat flesh. That ain't got nothing to do with your heart. Ain't got nothing to do with your heart. That's literally what the Lord talking about. It's nothing that you're going to put in your mouth that's going to defile you. Whether you washed your hands before you ate, whether you washed your hands after you got off the toilet. Either way it go, you could not wash your hands after getting off the toilet and be clean as a whistle. And you could get up and wash your hands after getting off the toilet and be as filthy as the poop that went in the toilet. Because it's got to do with what's in your heart. It ain't got nothing to do with what you putting in your mouth. But you think that's what them Christians say to eat pork. See, you focus on the Christians. I don't care what them Christians say. I don't care. Who cares? If them people want to eat pork chops, let them eat them. You can't stop them. You're going to keep telling them, huh? Nigga, if I done told you 2 times the man say don't eat it, I ain't finna eat them then, nigga. Clearly, that's what you want to do. I don't care. 1 Corinthians 11:28. That's what's wrong with people. You feel like you're going to keep on telling somebody, son, man, if them people, I don't know because I ain't got it. Man, you know, when the holidays roll around, every brew want to post about Thanksgiving. I mean, what it was this past Valentine's Day? You think them women going to stop doing Valentine's Day? Nigga, I'm getting free gifts. Meals. You think she care about some lupercalia? She don't care. You think this nigga over here want to deal with this woman being upset with him because he ain't buy her nothing? Man, I'm trying to get, and this is the crazy part. You getting excited for some coochie you get all year. I seen women say, you got men wanting gifts on Valentine's Day. Yeah, them niggas say, I'm tired of spending money on you hoes and you giving me coochie. I want something too. Oh, you gay for that. Why I'm gay? Because I want something. They say Valentine's Day is for women. Who told you that? Because if you know who Valentine's Day was for, you would know it was for men. Because it was men with men at orgies. Y'all know about lupercalia. Who don't know about lupercalia? You know about lupercalia, Doris? If niggas knew about Lupercalia, you wouldn't be walking here talking about Valentine's Day is for women. Valentine's Day was for orgies. Had nothing to do with a day for lovers. Again, you let some white men sit around in the room and socially engineer you, stupid. Valentine's Day, a bunch of women who ain't got no man. That's what it's called. That's how sad it is. We couldn't get no man, so we made something up. So we could all go out to eat with each other and give each other gifts. Y'all are lesbians. I literally seen a lady who in the wording on her profile, she said she was in a relationship with herself. That is code word for I can't get a man. I seen a post that been going around and they was like, he said, my homeboy mom rolled with a Hebrew group, but won't turn down gifts. Hey, right. I seen a post where people were like, it's not that women don't got options. A woman, see, no, let me tell you right this here. No, a woman is single by choice. You know what single by choice is? Code word for the man that I want don't want me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I could get, because it's about getting a man is easy. Yeah, the men you don't want. That's why I'm single by choice. That means the men you won't hate chose you. Getting a man is easy. Cut the crap. Like we were just talking about this here, right? Because people been posting about it. You know, the Vogue cover with Rihanna and her wife. Because that's her wife. And that photograph showed you that. Because she was leading the way and he got the baby.
I see the TikTok and this dude like break down with green lines and everything.
Yeah, that's what the photograph was. It's literally because my man's had shared it with the green lines, right? And I would tell him, I'm like, and I just ain't want to go into detail. I say clearly this is a Vogue magazine cover. So there is a narrative that is being pushed by this photograph. Don't be deceived. Now, Vogue knows exactly what the narrative is that is being pushed. But you ain't got to be the brightest person in the world to understand that they're showing you that a woman is leading a man. And like Dee put it, if she wouldn't have got rich from the draws and the makeup, she would be at the same level as him. Because her music ain't nobody, they was upset. Rihanna sucked at this. Nigga, she said she's just a big four-headed woman that people lust after. Who happen to put in position to sell a lot of draws and makeup. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, she's not a savvy businesswoman. I seen somebody would talk about the Forbes list of the richest people, and I seen them say, ain't no women on here. Well, baby, if ain't no women on here, that means the women ain't done what was necessary to get on the list. Can't nobody gift you on the richest people list. That means you have to have acumen. You have to be stealth, ruthless, and aggressive to your goals in order to get on that type of list. You just can't put a woman on that list because it's work that has to be done, and that's work that most women aren't willing to do. Because I put it to you this way, right? Because I don't want to keep on going in this here because we're not going to finish, and I just rather not. When you look at most of the wealthiest women in the world, most of the wealthiest women in the world got their money from their husband. So let's just cancel them out. Their husband either died or they got it through divorce. So let's just cancel them out. So then what richest women do you have? You don't want to do that. It's blood on it. You got Oprah. What did Oprah get rich from? Media. When you look at a lot of the richest people, and that means Oprah got rich for working for a nigga. Because Oprah don't own anything. Even though she called it the OWN network, she don't own nothing. That's no disrespect to Oprah. That's just the truth. Do you know who Larry Ellison is? He owns Oracle. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know who Arthur Blank is? He owns Home Depot, which in turn he owns Atlanta Falcons. Everybody know who Jeff Bezos is. Everybody know who Elon Musk is. Do you see the common theme that these men created something and owned it? I was reading this the other day because sometimes I just looking at stuff and I just be researching certain people and just seeing the stories on their life. There's a man by the name of Wayne Huizenga. Of course, I know who he is. He used to own the Miami Dolphins. Do you know what 2 businesses he started that got him the wealth to own the Miami Dolphins? One, he owned Blockbuster. He created and built Blockbuster. And you know the second one? He started out doing what I do. He started and created waste management. You know the green dumpsters? Mm-hmm. He started and created waste management in Miami, Florida, and bought out other small trash haulers like what we be doing with junk removal and created that. And that is a multi-billion-dollar industry in multiple different states. He created that. Ain't too many women gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? You know how Shad Khan got rich, the nigga who owned the Jaguar? Selling auto parts. He owned that. See, the key, if you want to get that type of wealth, you have to own something and put yourself in a particular type of industry. The richest black person in the world is Robert Smith. Or Robert Johnson, excuse me. Y'all know who that is, right? He created BET. Then he sold BET to Viacom and then went and did some other things. See, BET ain't been black. BET is black entertainment television in name only. Oh, give me that 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. Because we read that. In name only. Did we read 1 Corinthians 11, 28? Let me read it. Come on, get that 1 Corinthians 11, 28. Let me get that there because I called for it.
But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat bread and drink of the cup. Mm-hmm. For he that eat and drink unworthily, eat and drink damnation to himself.
See, that's a dangerous place to be.
Not discerning the Lord's body.
See, and that's something dealing with Pastor. Give him 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. See, I'm admitting that because people say a lot of things like, let's just be honest, right? The mass majority of people in this earth will never be millionaires. The mass majority of people on this earth will never be billionaires. It's a level of wealth that very few people actually attain. That's just the reality of life. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to like it. You ain't got to agree with it, but it is what it is. That's just the America where they sell you this thought process that everybody going to be rich. Everybody will not be. So we have to focus on what we talked about the other night. Pray to you who these people leave us alone and that we can live a peaceable life and that we have each day our daily bread and just keep on moving like that. Go ahead.
Examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith. Prove your own self.
Prove your own self.
Know you not your own selves. How that Yahusha HaMashiach is in you, except you be.
If Yahusha is not in you, then that means he's rejected you. Go ahead.
But I trust that you shall know that we are not reprobates.
We're not been rejected.
Now I pray to Elohim that you do no evil. Not that we should appear approved, but that you should do that which is honest.
That's good. Come on back to Matthew 5 and 8. I'll at least get all the blessings. Hold on. Johnson & Johnson wasn't black owned. She said, I thought originally black owned. The black hair products I heard years ago. They used to test products and style of women hair. Now, the Johnson & Johnson is white owned. Matter of fact, the dude from the family of Johnson & Johnson, his name is Woody Johnson, and he owns the New York Jets. You know what I'm saying? That's a real Caucasian family with the last name Johnson. With Johnson & Johnson, and their family owns the New York Jets. Yeah, it probably is. It's got to be because I know that I know that Woody Johnson owns the Jets. He's a complete and utter imbecile when it comes to all things football. He might know how to sell cancer-causing baby powder. You know what I'm talking about? He knows nothing about running a football franchise. I can tell you that. And you'll be surprised the complexities that come into running a football franchise. And I don't even think people even realize how much money you got to spend to actually run a franchise. You know what I'm saying? Because see, that's what Wayne Huizenga also owned the Marlins, and he complained he wasn't making money, claimed he lost $4 million, but then a forensic economist showed that he actually made $11 million. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you see people, this is one of the biggest misconceptions with people who got a lot of money. When you got a lot of money, you got way more overhead. Anybody who goes to making a lot of money, you go to realizing that you have to spend, the more money you make, the more money you have to spend. And it's not like necessarily that you buying a whole bunch of stuff, but your overhead goes up. So people see that you making money, but they don't know how much profit you actually making. You know what I'm saying? And what goes into that. That, yeah, you making money, but how much money are we actually keeping? So that's where the exploitation and all the other stuff that people see and don't like come into play, because these men trying to make a profit. Mississippi know this here because like you deal with real estate investors, but them niggas don't want to pay. They want to pay you below. You could go to a real estate investor, right? I just talked to my man, right? He wanted me to do a job. I'm gonna show you actually what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to demo a floor just like this here. This is very difficult to do. Not difficult as in complexity, but difficult because of time consuming. And we don't know, you don't know if this person glued this on, you don't know how they did it. But popping up tile ain't no easy, and it's backbreaking. Because you don't want to use a sledgehammer because you can mess up the subfloor. So that means you got to use a demo hammer. Now you see all this tile in here? Do you know how much per square foot you can charge to demo this? Up to $7.50 per square foot. Now, this house is about 2,000 square feet. Now, you got 4 rooms that got carpet, right? So that's the majority of it. So roughly out of the 2,000 square feet that's in this house, that's actual square footage, not counting the garage, it is probably about 1,500 square feet of tile in here. You know what I'm saying? So if you were talking about at $7 a square foot, that's $8,500 to get this up. Now he had a 1,700 square foot house. He wanted all the time. I say, because I know the dude. It's my man. I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna cap, bro. I say, hey man, the range for this is $1.50 a square foot to $7.50. You know what I'm saying? Because he was like, man, I got, people I hire to do certain stuff, you know what I'm saying? But you can't call my mind. So I hit you up, you know what I'm saying, to do it. I say, bro, I ain't gonna cap to you, bro. I say, I want to try to be good to you, man. $2.50, $3 a square foot. I don't know if you're trying to pull that, bro, because this gonna cost you about 4 or 5 bands, bro. Because not only do I got to demo it, I got to take it away and throw it away. You know what I'm saying? Do you see that? Do you understand how difficult? You got to get the grout up before you can even bust the tile up. And God forbid that the tile don't come up in a singular piece and breaks. Yeah, I need about 5 bands for this, bro. He said, man, I'm gonna holler at my people, man. I'm gonna get back. I said, I understand, bro. I'm not mad at you. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's why you called me, because you wasn't trying to spend that. I'm like, bro, there's no way in the world I could do this for a stack. There's no way. There's no way. I'm gonna need 4 or 5 bands, easy. The lowest I could do it for you is 3,500, just because you my man. But you gonna have to pay a nigga to do that, bro. Nigga definitely gonna want about $100 a day to come in here and do that. Because you're gonna be in there about 5-6 hours. He gonna want that's gonna, man, that jump break your back. Because there's no other way you can do it but to be just like this here with that demo hammer. There's no comfortable way you can do that. And that's what I mean by them people don't like to pay. Because he'll hear that. You can say, hey, you got 1,500 square foot tile. I'll charge you $5 a square foot. It's going to be set. Oh, no problem. They give you them $7,500. Don't even blink an eye. You know what I'm saying? You go to an investor. Can you do it for 35? Smoke rocks. You do it. I'm not doing that. I literally just seen a lady say, if you're a licensed electrician, right, you know how much a licensed electrician would charge you to put in that ceiling fan? Most investors want to pay $100 to $150 to put in a ceiling fan. A licensed electrician going to charge you $500. You know what I'm saying? And they was like, that's too much. He said, man, don't you know 30 cents of every dollar I make got to go to taxes? He said, you ever paid workers' comp for 160 employees? This nigga said, that's your problem. Nigga, what? And that's why you got the problems you got for paying the nigga $100 who didn't do it right. Because that means you're not just paying me for my licensing. You're paying me for my expertise. You're paying me for the training that it takes for me to hire my employees and their expertise, and the fact that I got insurance to pay for. See, people don't take none of this stuff into effect that go into a business. Most people just sit back and look at the fact you making money. But they don't look at, I got to pay for this. I got to pay for that. I got to take care of this. I got to take care of that. I got to set money aside for taxes. I got to do all this type of stuff. Nobody thinks about that type of stuff. And that's how you know when everybody say be an entrepreneur, everybody ain't fit for it. Because if you don't understand that you're going to have overhead and there's certain things that you're going to have to pay for, and it's just not you getting money, that's not how this works. It's not how any of this works. Especially if you're spending your own money. Nevertheless, go on and give me verse 8. Matthew 5 and 8.
Baruch the pure in heart, for they shall see Elohim.
We'll deal with that later. Y'all willing on the
Baruch the
morning.
peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of Elohim.
That's representative of Moses. Y'all willing, we'll deal with that tomorrow.
Baruch they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of Elohim.
Y'all willing, we'll deal with that tomorrow.
Baruch are you when men shall revile you and persecute, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great your reward in Shamahim. So persecuted they the prophets which were before you.
Praise God. So hallelujah for Yahusha. We'll stop right there for now. I appreciate all y'all time this evening. And bless you out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahusha. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. You who are willing, man. We'll be back at it on tomorrow. We'll pick right back up in Matthew 5. You know what I'm saying? And y'all willing, wherever else we head to after that. Just remain strong and stay focused on the task, man. You know what I'm saying? And just keep your trust in God, man. Don't let nobody never tell you that it's that trusting in you who is a vain activity. It's a lot of things, and vain ain't one of them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise Elohim indeed, brother, man. You who are Baruch, man. So, yeah, y'all willing, man. We're going to pick this up on tomorrow. Just remember, man, March the 1st is the beginning of the observation of Purim, man. You know what I'm talking about? And we'll be dealing with the rest of the days of the feast days, and I put some things in the applicable locations and other things of that there. And the rest of y'all, man, if y'all on here, man, you want to get at me, man, just holler at me, let me know. You know what I'm talking about? If you want to try to slide through for one of these feast days, man, you're trying to link up, just let me know. You know what I'm saying? And we can put all them things together, man. You know what I'm talking about? But, yeah. Appreciate y'all, man. Let you who guide your ways, man, and let the righteousness of Elohim strengthen your hearts. You know what I'm talking about? And keep your eyes on the prize, man. You know what I'm saying? Save your soul. Bump this other stuff these niggas out here talking about. Save your soul. Y'all willing till tomorrow.